All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's hope this works, shall we? Let's hope this works because that was annoying to try and get that to work in the first place. God damn it. And god damn it, local, thank you so much for the follow. Big love to your face and welcome to the journey, you sexy bastard. Hope you have an amazing time. If not, hopefully I can cheer up just better, my good dude, my good sir. Oh, I am sorry about being a few minutes late. I could not, and it would not. Arrow would not give me the right category for TikTok. Hey, it's things like live, my good sir. So we'll wait a few minutes, wait for people to kind of start piling in, and we'll go from there. I hope you guys are doing good. Yeah, I hope you guys like the thing below. You forgot your Hawaiian shirt. No, I have not. It's just too warm at the moment. What's good, mate? What's up, Edward? How are you doing, my good sir? You perfect color for Jeremy Clarkson. First, hello, P2. How are you doing, my good sir? What's up, everyone? So, I don't know how this is gonna go. I've never have to actually switch category in TikTok, and hello, Ben, and get into the right chat category in TikTok so I don't get a 7-day ban is kind of annoying. So, hopefully, I haven't fucked up and we're okay for tomorrow. But we're gonna let people start falling in and go from there. I'm gonna stream my hiding. Fair enough. But yeah, we have got a few people on standby in the staff today, so most of the chats are being watched, so behave. Some of the stuff we're going to be talking about first off with the lore stuff can be a little bit if you suffer from any type of depression or suicidal tendencies or anything like that, it is going to be a tough talk. It's going to give you that warning up and straight and going. It's going to be an emotional damage type of day, I feel. If I do end up getting very emotional, don't worry. I have Lou is off work today for this stream. So I know certain people have been wanting to fucking play a certain card, so you can wait. That does not take over while I'm doing this stuff, okay? Josh, thanks for liking the live, my good sir. And Ben, you too, my good sir. Thanks for liking the live. But how are you guys doing? We'll start off today with how are you guys doing? Because we have got 8 hours to kill. And I'm 100% sure I have depression. It is one of those things. It's a bitch, but make sure as long as you're talking to someone or have a distraction, you'll be absolutely okay. If you feel like it's really bad, do go and talk to your local doctor and see if you can see what they can do for you, because at the end of the day they will help out. Your GP or your local doctor is there to look after you and there for your mental health too. Hello Vidar, and hey, things look like live, my good sir. But yes, I will keep the music going in the background a little bit today just because it's not too much dead air. Also gives me something to kind of focus on too, as I have the whites of my eyes. Wait, they can do it. Hello Adam German, how are you doing, my good sir? I see you over there on the up top side. I hope you're doing well, my dude. So just so people realize what's going on today, I will say this a few more times. Hide and seek is not for nerf 4 hours. If you came early, all good. I'm dealing with depression, but I'm playing Wartrainer, so it's all right. It's a good distraction. I can't argue with that. Wartrainer was definitely my crutch. You know what I mean? Wartrainer was definitely my crutch to help me get through things. I thought the live starts at 5 in the morning. No, God, no. Me awake 5 in the morning. I'm just getting to sleep, good sir. Is your light shining off your glasses? Yes. I do plan to fix that at some stage. I know how to fix that. It's can't be ours. Eating Taco Bell breakfast? Ooh, very nice. Heinous. Very nice. Only breakfast. Fair enough. But guys, look at the live. Josh, thanks for taking the live. I do appreciate you guys are watching to eat. Either causes depression or just cures it. It's just one of those things. Hello, Sherman. Yeah. Without Taco Bell, I would have nothing. Oh no, I'm a German, so I'm up early anyways. No, that's fair. That's absolutely fine. Like I said, we'll probably start talking in a few minutes. I need to just remember in my head the timeline of events. Because a lot of this stuff, well, some of the tougher stuff would have started between 10 and 12. When I was 10 and 12. And if you know me, I am 30. So we're talking about me trying to remember something from 17 years ago. Wow, that's a weird feeling. That is a very weird day. Say a Wartrainer live. Today will be a Wartrainer live later on. But at this very moment, Josh, we are doing the first few hours are going to be me talking about my life story, where I came from, what I've been up to, how I got to where I am. And then in between that and the hide and seek, whatever gap there is left, we'll do some games with viewers and we'll go from there. I think that Wartrainer makes it worse, but they make it better. Yeah, 10 to 12 years, age would be 20 to 18. Shush. Let's go. So this time when we call all we call the Express and open up and feel safe about it. Yeah, this is a safe space. This is gonna be me being very much exposed to myself to you guys, not in that way, but letting you guys see my inner thinking. And then by the end of the day, I've said this a few times to some people. You probably will hear my story and be like, "What the fuck?" and be like, "How are you still chirpy in life?" I don't know. I can't just get up and put it with things. All right, that's the best way to go about it. Also, I've now just realized I actually have somewhere I can see the TikTok viewers. I didn't realize this stupid app tells me. I always have this minimized. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Don't show off your sausage off stream. No, that's for later. But yeah, I need to make sure everyone is. Are the most people who I need from the staff? Are the most people from the staff actually around? Are you not on TikTok stream today? I am. I'm on both. I'm on the tree today. I'm on the TikTok, YouTube, and I'm on the Twitch. I do drill stream. Con, do you think the Jag Tiger would be good for hide and seek? I mean, anything is good when I'm blind to hide from, because I'm just an idiot anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah, probably not doing. Just trying to figure out how I'm gonna start this. All right, so I do have drinks. I do have hydration for the nation. But yeah. Hello, Coldblade. How you doing, my good sir? All right. I will say, when we do get to the hide and seek stuff later on, I will go over the rules, of course. And do remember, we're going to run it the exact same way we ran last time. I will be doing the seeking. I have a team ready in the background who will be checking spots, making sure they're legit or not. I had them go through every single map recently and put no spots down and no squares that people are not allowed to go. So they will enforce that. They will use the in-game chat to communicate that. And if it gets too bad, I will make it apparent on stream. But that is for later on. Eyebrows. I don't know. I just keep doing the stuff on the eyebrows at the moment. Expression. Is it me? It's maybe too. I'm going to switch now. Oh, hello, Luca boy. Yee. That's all good. Honestly, today is the most activity I have seen over on the YouTube side, and I'm very happy about it. I have a feeling we will do Normandy. I'm totally not checking the list, 'cause I can't remember what I put on the list at the moment. I put it together like a few days ago. May or may not be right. Get away into my poopy, motherfucker! God damn it! All right. You know what? We'll start off with you guys asking some general questions, and then I can kind of feed into it. I think that's the best way to do it. That is probably the best way to go about it, because I don't know where I should start, if that's what I should say. Knew it. What happens when you hide and seek? What happens when you hide and seek? When we do hide and seek, that's people get to play. You guys also get to join. We filled up a server before many times, and it's very fun. You hide, I seek, and if I find you, I kill you, and you're out. I want to know why you started streaming. Right. There's a really good point. So, about 6 years back? 6 years? Yeah, roughly about 6 years back. It was during the time of COVID. You know what I mean? At that time when all the shit started happening, you know what I mean? And the world practically closed down. Me and Lou had been together like a year and a half, and I ended up moving in with her. So, during this time of moving in, we're like, oh, what can I do? Because there's nothing really I can do at the moment, because I was kind of made unemployed due to COVID because of what was going on. And I ended up leaving the job I was in at the time. It wasn't a very nice job. It's one of those jobs where you have to be used to being the bad guy, and I'm not very used to being the bad guy, if that makes sense. But I ended starting it up because me and a couple of friends at the time were playing War Thunder, and I was getting away with random shit, and they were like, "This is insane," and I was like, "You know what? Fuck it. Why don't I start streaming it?" So for 2 to 3 years, no, 2 years, I think 2 years, 2 years, I was streaming War Thunder 6 days a week for 4 hours a day. That was kind of where I started, and I kind of just started doing it for having fun with friends, enjoying the moment. I still made my weird noises, my weird sounds, still being a goofball and just really enjoying it. And that's what kind of got me into streaming. I obviously had seen other people stream and stuff like that, and I dabbled in streaming beforehand, but in the environment I was living in before, and it wasn't a very supportive environment for wanting to do streaming. I was always told to get a real job and stuff like that, which is very hard to do when you have the medical conditions I have with my back, which we'll kind of circumventilate around to that when we get to that. You know what I mean? Hello, Archimedes. So yeah, you guys may have heard, and every now and again I talk how my back is and stuff, and the physiotherapy. Just, it's one of those ongoing living conditions that I kind of deal with. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I started streaming. I started streaming to enjoy myself, have fun with friends, and see where it takes us. And hell, look where it's taken us. We have met so many awesome people. The staff team has grown to be so supportive and awesome. I am so lucky to have such an amazing support staff around me at the moment. Do you mean? We've got like, before all the new people who are around, we had Lou, we had Sherman, Ella, Angel, trying to think around then, and Jug was a part of it for a time, but IRL stuff happened and he decided to take a step back. Do you mean? Which is completely fair. Do you mean? So they were the real supporters in the background. Some more mentally, some more physically, and some, you know, with me not having any real incomes of that, some people very financially, and that just tends to happen. You know what I mean? And I could never be more grateful than the people I've met who've helped me do the things I'm able to do. You know what I mean? Like, to where we are now in the last 7 to 8 months, this channel has grown tremendously, from the Twitch to the TikTok to the YouTubes. I know I kicked up a gear as well making the content, but it's showing that if you do put it into work, you do get the rewards of having to meet awesome people and get to play with interesting people, whether it be playing with you guys, the viewers, or playing with friends, or meeting new people in the Discord, you know what I mean, or creating a safe environment for you guys. But yeah, like, that's like the same from where streaming came from to like what it was for like not many people watching me, to now having 3 streams going at the same time, and the opportunity to multi-stream was an insanely way cool thing. And then because of that, we've met so many people. Like, if we think about it, like the last 7 months, I wouldn't have met Tanker's been an original person who around here, A380, Jason, Top Shotter, and the new people, Ben, Admiral Trench, you know what I mean, some of the new staff who came on board, like who are in trial phase at the moment, like all the trial people in the moment who are in there, I really believe they're going to be able to do really well. We've got like we got Blue, we have Archimedes, we have Killer Moon, Jacob, who yeah, it's all forward. I had to make sure, I nearly forgot one last night when I was talking about stuff. I just survived 2 1,000 bombs. Nice, welcome in, Top Shotter, by the way. But yeah, I'm no funny. You do the funny stuff. Without doubt, anytime you join me, you immediately try and get into your MI-24 and you try to do a flyover, and so far 90% of the time it fails due to twats. You know what I mean? How do you discover War Thunder? Yo, I thought you were gonna forget me. No, I didn't forget you, don't worry. How did I discover the War Thunder? In fairness, I was literally talking with Ella last night. I sent her a few images of like old school War Thunder, because at the moment, with the current controversy going on with War Thunder, I was watching Fly Daily, and watching Fly Daily is what really got me into some War Thunder. But I had discovered it before it became a tank game. I discovered it when there was only planes in the game, and it was like America, Germany, Russia, and I think Britain, because it was 4 nations in there at the time, like the Allies on the Axis, and it was absolutely an amazing addictive game because of how real the stuff looked at the time and how great it was. Looking back now, the graphics were god awful, but you fell in love with the jank of War Thunder. You know what I mean? So the way I came across War Thunder was literally through a friend who was like, "Oh, this is a really good game. You should try it." I was like, "Oh, I don't have the money." He's like, "Oh, don't worry. It's a free-to-play game." I was like, "Okay, shit, cool." We played some air. It was like, "Oh, it's a bit one of those things." And then we were playing a good bit and a good bit more. And then we heard about ground forces. Yeah, so 2013, 2014. I've been playing this game for 14 years. That's what I'm saying. I'm doing this silly hellish stuff with the Tanker later in my 24. Maybe. Found it before it's cool, exactly. But then ground forces came out. And ground forces was ridiculously addicting for some reason. And ground forces only came out with a few nations on the ground. And I just... War Thunder free is the biggest light ever. It's not really free. I understand where you're coming from, because premium is definitely needed to play the game, which is where they get you for a free-to-play game, you know what I mean? So, I felt when then the tanks came out, and you're playing the tanks, and you're like, oh, you need to know where to hit tanks. It's not just a fluke. Angling matters. Armor is a meta. You need to know shot location, range, and stuff like that. It just became this skill gap I want to get better at. And you just keep playing and playing and playing. I playing and just got wildly cool. I played because I really like Spitfires and such a normally played it around 20 FPS in arcade when I had the time in 2016. Yeah, like some people in the channel know what I'm talking about, the nostalgic feel it was then at the time. But seeing the game development what it is now is fucking awesome, but also disappointing. Because the game is at the moment in a really bad state. I'm really hoping they can fix it, but it's just one of those things we have to hope, right? So I fell in love with War Thunder for the realistic and the accuracy as it was at the time. Because at the time, its only competitor was World of Tanks, and I hated the fucking arcade model of World of Tanks. Some people like it, I did not like it. I didn't like that there was a health bar to a tank. I really enjoyed War Thunder's methodology. If you knew where to kill a tank in one shot, that's where you kill a tank in one shot. You know what I mean? And that's the stuff I love in base. Do you think Russia bias exists? Russia bias definitely exists. And if you don't think it exists, that means you're the problem. Yes, bring War Thunder to the World of Tanks to the ground. And World of Tanks has now gone its own direction. It puts fictional blueprint vehicles in it. Like, would it be cool to see some of those vehicles in War Thunder? Yes, but does it fit the way War Thunder works? No. So that's how I got into War Thunder, pretty much. But yeah. Is there any more other questions before I start diving more into it? Because I'm starting to feel a warm up into the talking things at the moment. As far as the direct hits from AGM to TADUD. Yeah. Just one of those things. Your favorite tank? Okay, my favorite. Okay, I ask this a lot, and I have played so many nations, and some nations have some good vehicles. It's hard to pick a favorite tank in War Thunder. It depends on the BR and the stuff where you're like, oh, that's so good, oh, that's good, and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think. Because in America at the moment, I have to say, in America, my favorite tanks probably would have been, oh god, I've been enjoying the Stingray. The Stingray in America is very good. Oi, hello, Jackie. We're falling in love with the 9.0 lately. I've been falling in love with 9.0 a lot lately. But if I go by nation, America, I think the Stingray is just nice. Germany, as much as people hate it, the Bakelite Panzer 57 is just a very fun vehicle. Now that they've kind of messed with it a little bit, it takes a little more skill to be better with it. Germany, Russia. Oh god, Russia, what do I do with you? Oh, Russia, what do I do with you? You are a weird person with Russia. I don't think I really have a favorite vehicle in Russia at the moment because it's just a BR thing. We got Russia, then we got Britain. Britain, I have to say the Oliphant, Mark 1, or the Falcon pre-nerf. Very good tanks. I see your question, so just give me a second. After Britain, we have France is the forgotten child of War Thunder, so we don't talk about France. Italy is the forgotten child of War Thunder, but however, I do like the VRCC. It is a premium vehicle. Sweden, really love the 10.7 STRV. Very good fun tank. Very good fun tank. Sweden, China, I've got to say the AFT 109. AFT 109 all the way. Oh my god, is that thing fun. Holy shit. And then obviously with Israel, I have to say the Bardelos. I don't know why. I love the little boxy little fuck, but it is, yeah. New question. You haven't always streamed just War Thunder, have you? No, I was Variety for a long time. For a long time, I was Variety. I think I did used to. I played Snowrunner, I played War Thunder, I played Enlisted, I played Super Mario Together, I played Armored 3, I played a lot of games. The brickiest of tanks. So about your visually favorite tank? My visually favorite tank. Trying to dive deep into my memory pockets at the moment, thinking of tanks. God, that's hard. Huh? No, it's fine. I don't open the game. Oh god. Oh, 279. 279 is a great little 279 for Russia. That's my tank for Russia. That was what it was. Visually favorite tank. Oh god, I think the I don't know. I don't really talk about a visually favorite tank, so I'm being honest. Mine's got to be a T-45. Nice. Two-fifths of what nation is the most fun in your opinion? The funnest nation at the moment, in my opinion, is going to be 9.0 China, 12.0 China. It's going to have to be Russia. I've just been enjoying trying to do top tier at the moment, but it's just one of those things. Russia top tier is just easy mode. Obviously, 120 is beautiful. There you go. Enlisted wasn't made by Gaijin, right? Yeah, Enlisted was made by Gaijin. Watch him today. Think, yeah. Enlisted was made by Gaijin. Enlisted was 110% moved by Gaijin. Do you think Gaijin gets review bombed again? They will change their ways, maybe devs or higher ups. I don't think so. A lot of people I've been talking to saying, we've been like, the review bombing worked the first time, but I don't think Wartrander will care at this time and moment. I really don't think they'll care at this time and moment. And that's just one of those things, right? Yeah. But yeah, some of the fun nations I play, I think if you can stand Britain and get it to like up to 8.3, the Vickers Mark 1, very fun vehicle to play. That thing is a nuke machine because a 5-second reload, you have no armor, but it's a nuke machine in my opinion. China, very fun, like I said. Sweden, very fun. Russia, you just don't need to. Russia, you don't need to think. You just play and you win. It's just one of those things. But yeah. What about aircraft? What aircraft caught your attention when you first started playing? I was playing with a British dude at the time, and he really enjoyed Spitfires, and I was never really good at playing aircraft in the beginning. Still not to this day, by the way. But yeah, visually, I think I got grabbed my attention would have been the Spitfires. Honestly, I specifically remember having a disdain for the BF-109 series. You mean, annoyed the shit out of me. I'm not British, goddammit. What's my favorite car IRL? That, in fairness, is a Ford Shelby GT500 from 2005. My good sir. It is the Dominator, basically, from GTA 5. Love the car. Absolutely easy. Amazing car. GT 89 from China. Yeah. Very good. Also, I actually got a picture with that car one of the first time I went to the States. Very cool. What was my first main nation? When ground battles came out, the British I was playing with at the time really enjoyed Germany. So we first started grinding in Germany. And then Britain came out, and I immediately jumped ship to Britain. But that's back in the day, by the way, because this exists. Joaquin, thanks so much for liking the live. Because back in the day, the old Q Day of War Thunder. None of you will remember this unless you're old like me and Archimedes. In the old days of War Thunder, allies and Axis nations went against each other. There was no allies or Axis nations on the same team. That was a very different time in the War Thunder. Yes, you are old. Do you like the Shelby from 2005? One of my favorite Mustang shapes. Yeah, I think I know which city Brit you were playing with. Yes. Maybe. But yeah, back then, allies and Axis always on the opposite teams. It was never America and Russia on the same team, or America and Germany the same team. It would be Russia and Germany the same team, and America and Britain the other team. And the more nations that came out, you had the sub-nations that went with them. And then at some stage, I can't remember how long ago it was, they said, no. They will do the Q matching. But yeah. No, the guy told us it was like Enlisted. Enlisted was one of those things. Enlisted was very fun, but they've ruined it. Historical matchmaking was amazing, yeah. Great, but Enlisted they ruined. Enlisted was a very fun game. I liked the way the campaigns were split up into different 6 different time periods, and you didn't have, you know, the beginning of World War II versus the end of World War II, what it is nowadays, and I really disliked that. That killed the game for me when we jumped back into it, like I think a year ago, and we were like, oh yes, I play my British, because we played Tunisia a lot, so I have my British very high up. And then we ended up going against a whole reproduction. Prototype or production, one of the two. I just couldn't kill it. You were fucked. Josh, I would like to live, my good sir. But yeah. Top Char, I think she was like the live as well, my good sir. But yeah, that is pretty much one of those things, right? But yeah. So, we'll do a little backstory, a bit of back. We'll start going back now. So, we'll start with some of the basic stuff. One thing about it. I am the oldest child in my family. I am the eldest child, I think they call it. I'm being an idiot, you mean? I have a brother who is 2 years younger than me. Mom and dad are the split. I think like most common parents are these days. End up getting split or something like that, you mean? And, you know, obviously with time that causes a divide in the family and stuff like that. And, you know, and end up, you know, primarily end up living with my mom. What do you think about guys and using AI? It's just lazy. it's kind of lazy from a multi-million company using AI like that. For someone who isn't artistic like myself, I use that as a crutch. I'm not good at making AI. The Streamlabs pack that's coming out, by the way, soon. Most of the images are made with AI. I can't figure out how to draw or create art. I don't have the money to pay someone for. So for me, that works the best. But I think you guys will enjoy the new cards when they do come out. Packet, what do you? Yeah. So, yeah. So early on in my childhood, you know, and have a lot of split time between my mum and my dad. It wasn't so much shared custody, it's just whenever hell he felt like he wanted to show up and do stuff, do you mean? Which is fair, it's just one of those things. I think. Unfortunately for me at the moment, a lot of this time period back before 12 and around, I was kind of blacked out. I'm trying to remember as best I can. I should have wrote this down, some of the stuff. But that's a good thing. God damn it. But yeah, from the time that I did spend with my dad, it wasn't too bad. He lived down on what we call the countryside, which for an American you say it's out in the middle of the sticks. You know what I mean? It's out in the middle of nowhere. So basically, because we live in, I think I've told everyone this already. Everyone knows I live in Dublin, the county. Do you know what I mean? And he used to live down in Limerick, the border of Limerick between Limerick and Kerry. He was down there. That's where he used to live. Doesn't live there anymore, from my memory. Yeah. But yeah. So anytime we went down, you know, went down to see him and stuff like that. There was friends of the family that also lived down there. Who was out there prior years. I basically lived in a suburb of Dublin. I ain't giving away too much where I am. I don't even, like, whenever I do make videos outside of the house, I make sure I'm X distance away from the house before I start recording anything. Just privacy reasons, you mean? But yeah, times are good. Times down there weren't too bad times. They're great. One of the things I loved about when I did go down there is we used to know this farmer called Anish. And Anish is a very Irish name. And he was a very chill farmer, because my dad had bought the farmhouse off him, but the farmer still used part of the land, because he only all the fields around them and some of the land, and stored bales and the farm and livestock around there. And the dude was very chill, very awesome. There'd be days I go off and just do work with him instead of spending time with my dad. So it was just more fun for me. Run around the farm, like helping them look after the animals. I got to drive a tractor and stuff like that, between like 6 and 8 and stuff like that, and just, you know, generally help out. Very fun, very good times. But yeah, voice crack. I'm gonna have a lot of those, by the way, especially when it gets to the more fucked or annoying, hard stuff to say. That's where the love of farm sim started. Maybe if you think about it, like, it's just an enjoyable thing, just the quietness and the niceness of it. Doing. But yeah, then we fast forward a few years, and the stuff I'm gonna say will make a reference to what happens later on. So having experience with the farm and stuff, what is your opinion on Jeremy Clarkson? I haven't watched it. I haven't watched Clarkson's Farm. It's on my list, but my list is ever growing, because with how many things I do off stream and then just forget to watch things. I'm an idiot. It is just one of those things. I do plan to. I do know, I've heard the news what happened with Jeremy Clarkson. That in essence also ties into some stuff we're going to talk about as well. You know what I mean? So but yeah, fast forward a few years. We're in primary school. I'm trying to think what that is for Americans equivalent. Elementary school. So primary / elementary school for Americans. And there was this competition going on at the time called that was something to do with the toy Kinects. If any of you, I don't know if the Americans have heard of this, but the Kinects toys, the one where you build stuff together and you make little, like, it's like support struts and stuff like that. Huh? No, not Magnus were involved at all. Yeah, we had Kinects toys. So in our school, they were running a competition. It was an engineering style competition, which was pretty cool. So what we were tasked to do on for the classroom was, bro, they were so fun. Yes, they're amazing. I loved them. I'm so grateful for Connects, what they did when you hear about the rest of the stuff. Again, everything I'm going to tell you does connect into itself. So what we had to do is they were like, you need to build a boat out of Connects that can hold a 1 liter bottle of water on it. And keeping in mind, at this time, I would have been 10. That's kind of important. So I would have been 10 at the time, and we're told to make this boat. Nobody else's design in the room looked like a freaking boat. It's probably only something I could have. Yeah, it's fine. None of these designs look like a freaking boat whatsoever. Nobody in the room except for the guy I worked with, who was called Sub. Yes, the guy was called Sub, and myself. We were, yeah, you know who he is. So me and him were tasked to build a boat, and he was like, you know what, you just you, man. I'm just here to have some fun. And then we ended up making the boat, this general like outline of the boat, and then we got the boat. So I got pieces to connect it and make an actual floor, and then made a little hut thing, and it looked like a boat. And then they put everyone else, they put the bottle of water on. People didn't work, it crunched and stuff like that, and they literally and then came out to us, and they put the bottle of water on ours, and there was like literally no flex, nothing whatsoever, right? Absolutely no flex in it. And then the teachers and the engineering person with the Connect toys came in, went out, they talked about it, came in, and they said that myself and Sup had won the classroom competition, and that we'd be going on to something called a county level competition, which is where they take people from other kids from different regions around Dublin and make them compete with each other. So that happened, and a few months later we went to this one. So when we went to this one, it was in it was in DCU. DCU is Dublin Community University, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's Dublin Community University. Cannot remember the name of it exactly. What's Connects? Connects is this little building toy that when you put stuff together, it's spelled K-N-E-X. Connects? Yeah, I think it's spelled that. If you Google that, you'll know what I'm talking about. I can't put a picture on stream because I'll break my OBS, and I don't want to do it. It's been very finicky at the moment. Very cool little toy for engineering toy. You know what I mean? DC, the DC University back. We were tasked to come down, and we were shown, and they were like, you guys need to build a fire truck that can also hold like 2 liters of water in the back of it and some more stuff like that, right? And we're like, okay, not too bad. Sub was very chilled, and he was like, you know what, we're at this level, we're a day off of school, it's absolutely fine. My mum had driven both me and him in to go and take care of it, and we went in, we're given the design brief. Didn't hear what happened to the boat. The boat we won, by the way. So we went in and we dealt with we got given the design brief, what we need to do. It had to be able to hold water, and it had to be able to move, and you know, obviously not break. Fantastic. We were given an hour for this, hour and a half ish, to build something that would work. So what we did is quite similar. Sub was very chill. He helped in a little bit on the more like tedious tasks. I had built the frame of the fire truck. We had done that same design we did for the boat to make everything sturdy, so when they put the water in, it wouldn't flex. We then increased the strength of the holding the wheels and was able to move. And then for the fuck of it, we also built a ladder that went on top of it that actually swiveled too. So we went above and beyond what we were doing. It was apparently it was a close call, but when everyone's seen, they're like, yeah, myself and Sub had won again. And this meant we go to national level. So this is a national level from like all the schools from each county. Best schools from each county came together in, again, Dublin City University, but this time in the auditorium hall, the big giant hall they do their things in. Very cool. And this happened a few months later, and what was I gonna say? You're saying not creative. I am not creative. That is engineering. Connects is very much engineering and logical based design because it requires some structural stability. Anyway, I can't remember what the design thing was for the finals. All I know is Sub was also very supportive again. He was like, nah, listen mate, we're here, we've done amazing, it doesn't matter if we win or lose, we just be proud of ourselves anyway. And to think about it, they said a 10-year-old telling another 10-year-old about this because it's very insightful at the time when you actually look back at it, do you mean? But also, he was a very laid back dude. He was an extremely laid back dude. No, so the county level we won, the nationals we did not win. Creative, logical, and imaginative. I can't remember what it was. I know we didn't win. We enjoyed ourselves all the same. There was there at the time, the presenter was the girl from the this is a local county thing. The kids show at the time. She was a ginger girl with the frizzy hair. I don't know if you remember. I know I have a picture of it somewhere. I do. I know I have a picture of it somewhere. I don't know where it is, but we met her as well. But it's a great day, fantastic. And again, the reason why I can connect stuff, it will circle back later on. Hey Trey, thanks for liking the live, my good sir. I am going to give myself a bit of hydration because. All right. So, in the same year, what was it? Yeah. Towards the end of the school year, it was fucking hot outside. I know. God damn it, German. All right. Whew. All right. So, towards the end of the school year, I started developing excruciatingly sore back problems. Like, excruciatingly sore. And it was so bad at the time. I couldn't sit in the school chairs. They had a special weird little couch thing I would sit in the back of. The teacher at the time was really supportive because it was really weird. And at this time, we were all like, "Oh, what's going on?" And again, as a 11-year-old, terrified of hospitals. As I think any kid is terrified of hospitals. It's not a place you want to be in. Do you mean at all? So, yeah. So, starting developing these really bad back pains. It would flare up. It would stop. It would start, and it was like this a few times. The first time I went to hospital, we were brought in. They did checkups over on me. I had an X-ray from the ribs upwards, a chest X-ray, because they thought the problem was my upper back, and they looked at the X-rays, and they quite literally went up to my mum and said, "He's addicted to Calpol. Calpol is a medicine, a pain relief for kids in Ireland. He's addicted to Calpol. He's just doing it to get Calpol. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with him." Yeah, true story. Yeah. So my mom was like, "Okay, weird," but again, still experiencing these really excruciating back pains. It's one of the reasons why I have a really high tolerance for pain, because of how bad this was. Like, the pain was a 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10, depending on the day, because there would be days I'd just be crippled, absolutely crippled, and nothing I can do about it. So we fast forward like another month or two, and there's one day I'm in so much pain. I'm lying down on the couch, and I'm just not moving, and even not moving, lying on the couch, my back was just absolutely splitting me in half. It was so sore. Again, I had dogs at the time. The dogs knew something was wrong, because dogs always have this sixth sense about something's going on, you know what I mean? And we had a little dog called Ruby at the time. What I'll do, if I can find pictures, I will post some pictures in the Discord, the community Discord at the time, so that way you guys can kind of have a little understanding of what's going on. Give me a second, I need to find the pictures. Hang on, I've just scrolled really far back. Give me a second. I wish I could do this faster. Oh, hang on. I'm getting close. Where the hell is Ruby? I just want to find one of Ruby. Ah, there we are. There we go. I put the picture of Ruby in the community Discord so everyone can see it. So it's in the community Discord so everyone can see. I'll add more pictures as we go along. Okay. So Ruby. No, it wasn't Ruby. We didn't have Ruby at this time. No, wasn't Ruby. Didn't have her at this time. I remember now. We didn't have Ruby at this time. I had a similar problem with my knees, ankles, and feet. Yeah, wasn't Ruby. It was a different dog. Because at the time, my mum liked to foster dogs. I know it was Sandy. Could be also the dog called Sandy. I remember a dog called Sandy. Sandy. I don't have any pictures of Sandy. Maybe on Facebook. But I'm not going through scrolling through Facebook at the time. You mean? Hey, Tracy, would like to live, by the way, good sir. If I didn't say it already. So, Sandy had cuddled up to me and was you know, keeping me company. And then the one day I was having really bad back problems. It was on a Saturday, and my mum was just really scared because it was just very antagonizing, very painful. She'd give me some strong painkillers, and it still wasn't helping. So we went to a thing called a DDoC. A DDoC is effectively an emergency off-hours doctors that isn't as serious as a hospital, but something if you needed to see someone to know if you need to go to the hospital or not, right? I can't remember what a DDoC is would be called in their different countries. Might be an instant clinic or a health clinic or something like that, or something beforehand. That's basically what we ended up going to, right? And he brought me in and he was making me do walks and stuff like that, and he was like, oh, that's very weird, and get my mum a prescription for like some stronger painkillers to try and help me out. Did it help me out? Not really. And then again, no, we did not have him at the time at all. I don't think any pictures uploaded with Sandy, in fairness. We have urgent care, so probably equivalent to an urgent care, but not an urgent care, but not like a hospital. That makes sense. So, some of the stuff. I know. Alright, Lou's just show me stuff. Listen, no, wasn't that stuff for the competition at all. Like, that's the stuff. I'll explain in a second. Right, so, trying to think. Go through all the summer in this really bad pain. You know what I mean? And then we get to, hang on, because I have to remember the timings. Okay, so I think it goes forward to November. I could be wrong about it. So from end of school summer to November, agonizing pain. Just chatting today. I'm explaining my life story, going through things. It's your waffle. We're just getting up to what happened to when I was like 11. So, oh god. So in November again, really bad back problems. We went back to the emergency room in the hospital. Okay, it was really bad, and they were like, okay, let's get an X-ray of the lower back, right? So we went through, got an X-ray of the lower back, and got it, and we brought it up to the doctor we're seeing talking to the time, the one who's in charge of the ER part, and they were like, oh, that doesn't look good. They looked at my back, and they'd seen one, there's a little bit of a kink to it, if I remember correctly, but when they did a side-on view of it, they could see that 2 of my spinal bones had shrunk in my back, right? And not shrunk a little, shrunk a lot to the size of what I was told at the time, a silver dollar, like very small. I mean, very, very, very small part of my back. And this was on 2 bones, I will say. At the time, they were like, that's kind of weird. You know what? I still remember the name of this condition to this day. It's a very long health condition, but what it is in tendency, before I say what it is where the backbones can shrink and then regain their pain, come back to normal shape again. Very painful stuff. Basically, it took me 8 months to get to that stage, and they're like, oh, to heal, it's probably another 8 months of excruciating pain again. To which, not really looking forward to it. Do you mean? And they had a name for this condition, to which I remember to this day, called an escaliophilic granuloma. I don't know how I remember that name to this day, but I have something called an escaliophilic granuloma, which is absolutely insane. Waffle, think you like the live, my good sir. And they were like, so what we're going to need to do is just to confirm this is an escaliophilic granuloma, because why not? I haven't said it in years, I might as well say it a few times. And they're like, we're going to go send you for an MRI. We want to get an MRI. We want to see how bad the condition is, is there any muscle damage, anything that they can't see with a typical X-ray, right? So they send me off, go to the MRI, wait in line for the MRI, and the girl in the MRI goes, oh, don't worry, it's big and it's loud, but it's not that bad. Just try not to move. You'll be in there 20 minutes tops, all right? And I was like, okay, so you take off everything in metal because the MRI machine. It's like you sit down and you're just there. And I don't know if any of you have been for an MRI, but it is the weirdest fucking feeling ever. You can feel exactly what part of the body it's scanning because you just feel this deep, intense, like hot feeling going all the way down you really slowly. So they started looking at the lower back. That's a long way. Yeah. So they started looking at the lower back. And then they were saying they need to do some more scans. So they kept going with more scan. 20 minutes turns into 30 minutes, 30 minutes turns into 40 minutes, 40 minutes turns into an hour turns into 90 minutes. And oh my shoulder blades are killing me. That's not good, my dude. So 90 minutes I've been sitting in this MRI machine. When I told I should be there for 20 minutes. That's an 11-year-old. So when I got out, I was very stiff. I was very sore. They had also had put like a head thing on me as well. So they had to also do an MRI, do a full top to toe MRI scan. And for whatever reason, we didn't know why they were doing this at this time. And we then go back to the doctor, and they're like, we also, from what we've seen, we need to also send you for a blood test. And by the way, I was going to be in there for 20 minutes, and since I was there for 90 minutes, the people in the back who were also waiting to get MRIs also got delayed by an hour and a half this entire day. So I had a knock-on effect the rest of the hospital that entire day because they discovered something they didn't think they were going to discover. So I get sent to go get some bloods. I had an absolute witch. A witch. I swear it was a vampire just trying to get extra blood because they went in disarm. Went digging for a vein. Couldn't find it. Went back to disarm, went digging for a vein, couldn't find it. Went back to disarm, went digging for a vein again, couldn't find it. And then went back to disarm and finally got a vein. 3 times I had to look, try and look for a vein because my veins are pretty prominent. You can see my veins pretty clearly, so I don't know what the fuck was going on with her that day. No, not this morning. This is just like coming up to my life, my good sir. So anyway, it goes by a week, and my mom gets a phone call from the hospital saying we have to transfer you to a different hospital. You're going to go see a specialist for what we believe what it is. And at the time, my mom didn't know what it was. I didn't hell know what it was, but it was hematology oncology unit for kids. Again, I didn't know what it was. My mom didn't know what it was. And we went in and we talked to this awesome doctor. And to this day, I will always remember his name because his name was Dr. Michael Capra. And he is what I would say is a living legend. And he is one of the prominent reasons why I am still here today, probably more than likely. Because yes. So we went in, talking with the doctor, and he was asking me some questions and stuff like that. He was doing like a full body examination, checking under the arms and down in the pelvis area around the groin and stuff like that, you know, looking for stuff. And then he'd noticed I had like a massive lump in between my leg and my pelvis. There was like an excrusion, a very big excrusion. I think it was like that big, sticking out of my between my pelvis and stuff like that. And my mum had no idea at the time that this was going on. I had seen it and didn't question it. I was like, oh, it's pokey, it's squidgy. It must normally happen to people, you mean? So anyway, we talked with this doctor and he's like, oh, they don't tell you what it is. They just kind of go with the flow and try not to panic the family. So they go like, oh, we're gonna schedule some more tests. You're gonna have to get a CT scan. You're gonna have to get a PET scan. You're gonna have to get an ultrasound. You're gonna have to get an echo scan. And I'm just like, this is a lot of shit going on. So I go get a CT scan, but I get a special type of CT scan. So there's 2 ways they can kind of do a CT scan. They can do it with just normally scan your body, or they put stuff where they put you drink a dilute and it highlights your blood and your capillaries in your system. I can't remember the point of a PET scan anymore. It's been so long, but I also had to do one of those. But yeah, the only time I remember the doctor was when they found out I was missing my 4th and 8th rib on the left side and 10th on my right side. What the hell, my dude? Holy shit. I hope you're okay, my good sir. But yeah, we continue on, and I think it was like 3 or 4 days later after all these exams. I remember my mum was in the kitchen. She got a phone call and like stepped away to the kitchen, and I think she was informed on the phone what was going on. Because I remember her kind of just breaking down and like dropping to her knees and on the floor crying. I remember coming in and seeing if she was okay, and she just grabbed me and started hugging me. Didn't tell me what was going on at the time, and it was kind of kept from me what was going on at the time, because obviously 11-year-old didn't want to kind of stress them out. So I ended up going, I think, for one more round of scans. I can't remember what they are anymore, but I remember there was one more round of scans, and that we were to come into a hospital, and I was going to do a 3 or 4 days amount of time in the hospital because I'd been scheduled in. I'm going to get an operation. No, hang on. Sorry, no, I'm skipping ahead. They had been told that my mum needed to come into the hospital, and I knew it was kind of serious when my mum had to talk with my dad, because my mum and my dad are not very good. What's it called? We weren't very close at the time, but I knew it was bad. And to make this all kind of a little bit worse, by the way, you know, to really start the jerk motion for you guys, is all this stuff started happening. The stuff where my mum and my dad started talking to each other and coming down to the doctors all started happening roughly a week and a half before Christmas. You know what I mean? You have a very great memory, unlike me. Memory is only great when it's trauma, because you don't forget trauma, unfortunately. So yeah, so they started talking. I remember it was really weird. It was my mum, myself, and my dad had gone back down to this hospital. They asked me to stay in the waiting room, and I remember my mum and my dad going off to talk to the doctor, and I was kind of just sitting there, kind of like just doing my own thing, not know what's going on. And then 20 minutes later or something like that, I remember my mum coming out in tears, crying, and my dad came out, and you could tell, because normally he was in the army, so normally he has like a very stern face, but even you can see like his face was just gone. And again, at the time, not knowing what any of this meant, obviously now looking back, you kind of realize what's going through their heads at the time. And yeah, I remember my mom gave me another hug, and my dad was like, I had asked my dad that day if he can take me around to some of the stores that I wanted to get Christmas presents for my mum, my brother, and the dogs at the time. Do you mean? The 2 dogs we had at the time. And he was going for, Jason, think you like to lie, my good sir. And yeah, he took me and stuff like that, and I got it sorted. I then remember the next week was a very weird week, because my mum had basically taken me out of school for the day. Hey, vibe. And had set me down with her, and she had this special book that she had this special book, and the story of the book basically went along the grounds of this kid who was basically dealing with cancer, and the processes he was basically going to go through, but in cartoon form, to kind of inform me what was going on. And at the time I hadn't realized the severity of what was going on. And I'd asked, do you understand why I'm showing you this book? And I said, am I sick? To her, and she was like, yes, you are. You've got this scary thing that's called cancer, but we have the doctors and the treatment plan, and we're going to try and deal with this. I remember we talked for a little bit about it. I can't remember the exact conversation, but I do remember that same day we went to my best friend's house at the time, and his name was Jamie. and we were there early before we went to go. His mom went to go pick up my brother and Jamie from school, and we're sitting, and they came home, and I hadn't realized the severity of like what is going on. I remember telling my best friend's mom, like, in a happy trippy child voice of just like, I have cancer, just very innocently saying this to her. And I remember her like knowing the severity of what's going on. She had to kind of stop herself and walk out of the room to try and like not be upset about things. And so yeah, and then basically she went off to go get my brother and my friend from school, and they came back to his home, and I had this massive card, and the card was basically full of every single one of my classmates wishing me to get well soon, because that day as well, they were all informed in school what is going on, and a classmate of theirs is very sick and very poorly, and from that point onwards, that entire like class, it like treated me differently, but again because I was sick, in a nice way. And yeah, so that day kind of went on the rest as normal. And then I remember part of the conversation before we went to my most friend's house is like, we're gonna be going to the hospital the next few days, we're gonna be staying in for a few days, you have an operation, that's going on Friday, because you're gonna get something inserted into your body, and it's kind of like, I don't think you can see it, I don't know if it's shown on the stream or not. There's a little scar here. It's very faded, but the girls know the scar I'm talking about. And there's another one I can't show because that would get Twitch violation. You're gonna get this little thing inserted, which is a nickname of Freddy line, but it's a hemoglobin line, and it's one where it goes into your body. Hang on, let me just zoom out this camera for a second. It goes into your body here. They root it up to your chest, and it goes into your central your central blood system to bring parts of the medicine around your body, or so that you always don't have to keep getting like the cannulas in your arms or anything like that, right? So on that day we went in and went into the special unit, which is called St. John's Ward, and it is a ward in Ireland in Our Lady's Hospital that is designed to specifically deal with children with cancer. This was when I was 11, so this would have been 19 years ago. Yeah, so next year I've been 20 years clear of this stuff. So, but yeah. Well, for things we like to lie, my good sir. So we went into this ward, and I didn't know what was going on. I was messing around on my dad's 2011, yeah, messing around on my dad's phone. So without playing Snake of all things, I remember Dr. Michael, my mum, and my dad were all talking in a just different part of the ward, and I was going in and out of it and stuff like that, not knowing what was going on. And I remember they asked me to come step in, and they were like trying to help me realize the severity of what was going on, but not trying to freak me out. And I'm trying to remember the odds. Can you remember the odds I remember telling you? So I know the odds were low-ish. Okay, so to give you guys retrospective, I'd break in 2 minutes. Okay, to give you guys retrospective of how bad the cancer was at the time that I was diagnosed with. I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a cancer of the bone. It's a cancer of the bone, and it's an adult cancer that I had as an 11-year-old. And it's a rare adult cancer too, because most time a cancer is cancer of the blood or something like that. Mine was more a cancer of the bone, of a tumor that had effectively the two backbones I was telling you about. This tumor had basically pushed up against these bone pieces. So imagine these two fingers on my bone, and basically crushed the bones down to the silver dollars I was talking about earlier on. Huh? That's okay. No, I remember the one I remember myself. I was given at the time. The problem was because I've had this for 8 months. I was quite a little bit far gone, because I no longer had a primary site. I had like 3 or 4 secondary sites. I had, for fuck's sake, I had a site here, here, and there in the other ribs, along with the physical tumor between the legs as well. 10 seconds. I'm going to stop for a second so people who are going to get ads don't get hit with the ads. And I'll give me a moment to breathe, you guys, okay? Ben, I'll explain all of it because this all links to, in essence, why I do streaming as well, another reason. So, yeah. For everyone else who has a sub by the way, I do appreciate you guys for the support as always. But I want to make sure everyone can hear what's going on because I don't want people to left down and be like, and me having to go back, because if it's on the tough part, I don't want to keep going back over it. I appreciate it, B2. God, and this is only the one of a few things I've been through. I appreciate you guys. She's over there. This is why Lou has the day off, Sherman. Because I knew I wouldn't be able to get through today without it. I don't need Leah. It's fine.
Bullshit.
Mer.
Bullshit.
Lou just gave me Leah, Angel. Don't worry. Is the ad clear? Or is it almost clear? Put her over here, goddammit. Huh? Okay. Just waiting for the thing to go. Alright, I'm gonna head out, kind of starving in here. You're a good waffle, my dude. You go take care of yourself. Yeah, and Ben, yeah, it does affect me at my old years. You'll see how in a second. Yeah. So, Great Angel saying she has 30 seconds. So I wonder if the ads aren't exactly synced out with everyone. Oh, okay. Okay. So, like I said, I had the multiple locations. I had 3 bones basically hollowed, in essence, I think is what it is. And I had the tumor site down between my leg, and I had the tumor site in my back. The one that basically crippled my back. And after this operation, during this operation, I had a cannula line fitted, and they directed chemotherapy, under sedation, I should say, needles into the back where the tumor is. And that was the day. And I remember we were talking, listening to the doctor, and because of how far gone the treatment had gone, I'd gone undiagnosed, unproperly diagnosed until someone had a cop on to actually do the right scans. They were kind of worried about my survival rate. I'm trying to remember the fucking survival rate. It's killing me. I can't remember if it was 35% chance or a 40% chance for survival. I do know it was against my odds though. I do remember the odds were kind of not with me to survive. I just can't remember if it was 35 or 40% chance of survival. Or was it 30%? I know it was between 30 and 40%. I just can't remember exactly where it was. And that's just going to, I guess, be a fucking nuisance to try and remember because it's been so long. Try and remember that. But yeah, so we go through the motions of the treatment. I had a very short treatment cycle of 3 months only of intense chemotherapy. No radio. I'm generally trying not to cry. Oh, Adrian, it's okay. Today is a day to cry. Today is not a day to cry. If you crying isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of it's a sign of being a real man. Like a real guy, a real man can cry and not be afraid to cry, especially when it's something that truly hits him. You know what I mean? Do not be worrying, my good sir. But yeah, so we started the treatment this week. It's around Christmas, and yeah, I remember plus, I'll say something. It's empathy. Yes, it's a sign of empathy. You're right, Ben. Yeah. So basically, I remember I really wanted to be home for Christmas. I had this operation. I had bandages on my neck. I had a bandage here. My back was in bits because of like of them doing the stuff, putting the direct needle stuff in, lumbar stuff. I think it was from that. And my mom is going through the same thing right now, just in different places. Oh, A380. I'm really sorry to hear that, my dude. Listen, man, she will be a fighter. She has a good reason to fight for. She's got you. As long as someone has a reason to fight, they will stay strong and try and and they will make it through it. All right, my good sir. Everything will be fine. So yeah, we got home for Christmas, and then we go through back and forth in the hospital every 2 or 3 weeks, getting treatment for chemotherapy. And one thing I think everyone knows with chemo is when you start taking chemo, chemo is a very, very aggressive thing, because obviously it has to fight a very aggressive problem too. So when I started doing my treatment, I have to have a mix of 12 tablets in the morning and 12 tablets at night every single day until the treatment was over. 6 tablets at morning and 6 tablets at night and 6 tablets in the morning were purely just steroid tablets, because your body is so weak and frail from the chemo treatment. You cannot like function without it. They also give you anti-nausea medication so you don't feel sick while on the chemo. That is a very common thing. They also give you, there's some other stuff in there to help bring in the immune system, because one thing I don't know if you guys know very much with chemo is when you go under chemotherapy, you have no immune system. Your immune system is gone, because your immune system is busy helping the chemo fight the cancer, so that the rest of your body just cannot get sick. Because if you do get sick when you're on chemo, it is 10 times worse than getting sick without being on chemo, because obviously when you get sick normally, you have an immune system to fight. With chemo, you don't have an immune system anymore. It's one of those things that gets attacked to help treat the cancer. I can't remember exactly how it works, but if that's the majority of it. And one of the things of taking chemo is you lose your hair. You don't keep your hair when you have chemo. Your hair comes out. And I remember a week or 2 after the chemotherapy, I remember just doing that like gently, and you could just see clumps of hair falling out. And then I just started going like that one day. And I can't remember what was going on. I think my mum was also trying to keep herself doing a course as well at the same time. And obviously some parts I had to take a pause at certain stages when she was in the hospital with me. Yeah, are we doing hide and seek right now? No, okay, we're doing hide and seek in 3 hours ish. My mum was sick and she was genuinely struggling like fuck. Lucky she survived it. I'm glad it treated. I'm very, very, very happy for you, my dude. She survived it. So yeah, I remember asking my best friend's mum if, like, when she came to get me one day to, keep me in social circles and stuff like that with like my best friend and my brother, because at this time, because of how sick I was, anytime I went to hospital, my brother went to my best friend's house, and my best friend's mum effectively became my brother's second mum because of how much she had to look after him and stuff like that, because my mum was so busy focusing and prioritizing on me and things like that. And you might be like, but you had a dad at the time, what was he doing? He wasn't effectively doing much. My mum basically took most of it on herself to look after me. And yeah, a lot of the stress and the strain was put on her shoulders. Like quite a lot. Yeah. So basically going through the treatment in and out of hospitals, there was one time where we had gone in for treatment, and we were doing the normal stuff. So every time I go in for treatment, you go get an echo sound to make sure your heart is okay and it isn't struggling to pump, to keep you going, because everything's just so weak in the bodies at the time. And I remember this one time we were in the elevator and we came down, and the elevator in the hospitals wasn't great. It came down to a point, and then just before, and then would drop like 4 inches, just a straight drop for no reason even. And that freaked my mum out so offside at one time. that when we started walking down towards the ward, she had collapsed because of all the stress and the strain she was under, and that elevator was like a tipping point for her, and her head went, she went, and basically she had gone down in a kid's hospital. So the nurse we had with us at the time was, because when you go into the hospital, you have like a nurse that looks after you for that week. They're your primary point of contact nurse for the entire week when you're in the hospital. And she was with there, and the staff had rushed around my mum. They had put her onto one of the beds and they'd wheeled her to the ward. And the girl that we at the time, she took me and we went up to go see my mum, and they were like, okay, they were like checking her over. One of the best places to have a fall or have a stress like anything like this is in a hospital. So they'd seen her and they were like, okay, she needs to go to an adult hospital. They can't do anything about it. So they called an ambulance, and the ambulance took her to an adult hospital. So it's just me at the time on my own in a hospital with the primary carer. And legally, they have to, if the primary carer, the primary parent isn't there to look after it, they can't do the treatment because they need someone to basically come in and do so. Yeah, my mom did. Yeah, yeah. So, trying to think. So at the time, I was brought down to the playroom in the kids' ward, and I was just playing games. And in the background, the nurses were trying to get in touch with secondary points of contact, trying to get in touch with my dad. My dad was like, "It's taking him 4 hours to get up. You can't really do anything about it." Then they called my best friend's mum, and she couldn't do anything about it because she's a full-time babysitter for people's kids, and my brother and Jamie. And then there was a family friend's husband who came to get me from the hospital. And whenever you leave the hospital away, because again you have, like, back in the minute, whenever you leave the hospital with no immune system, you have to wear a mask because of all the airborne stuff in the sky, and you can't be around any dig sites or anything like that. And what was I gonna say? Oh god. Yeah, so basically it was brought back, and for whatever reason, I don't know to this day, one of those questions I never actually still asked them. I was with my friend's mum's tent for like 2 days. We knew my mum's in the hospital. We didn't know too much about it, and all I remember is God. All I remember is my best friend's mum on the phone. I remember hearing stories afterwards that like my gran, my aunt, my uncle on both sides of the family were all berating my dad at the time and calling him, saying, "You need to come up, you need to take Connor to the hospital, he needs to get his treatment, he can't go without his treatment this long, you need to stop being selfish and actually come look after your son," you mean? And after 2 days he caved, he came down, he got me, and he brought me into the hospital, and he was there with me for like one of these weeks in the hospital. Most of the time he wasn't really beside me in the, like, looking after me. He'll be in the adult chill room, like, on calls with people, trying to figure out what's going on with my mum, and just generally, if it wasn't for a nurse called Podrick, believe it or not, he was kind of like the saving grace during that time when my mum was around, because he would fill in the gap whenever my dad wasn't there, when my dad was off doing other stuff. We're chatting with our parents and not seeing if I was okay for whatever reason. Because in the end of the day, the most things you can do when you're in treatment is, one, watch something on the TV, sleep, or if you have the energy to slowly go down to like the kids, the playroom, and interact with other kids who are also sick. Yeah. But yeah, but meeting with other kids down there was good. I remember you see a lot of different people and different families and walk of lives having, like, with kids with cancer. I remember, like, there was one time I shared this room with a girl called Bernadette and her brother, and I remember me and her brother got on quite well, and she'd been going under cancer treatment for like 2 years. There's another kid we met who was like 3 years old, who'd been diagnosed with cancer as well, and I don't recall at the time, but I remember my mum telling me a lot that, like, whenever we were with someone younger or something like that, I would fuck was it? I would distract them enough so they didn't realize that they were in a hospital, and had fun and made them feel forget they were sick. Do you mean? And you know, with kids and cancer, unfortunately, some of those kids who I interacted with and met, you know, weren't as lucky to make it. One of the people that still sticks in my head most of these days is the brother of the girl Bernadette. She never made it through her treatment, and I didn't find out about this for a few months afterwards, because one of the things they do with you as a kid afterwards is they bring you in for mental checkups and therapy sessions to see how you're handling and how things are going. But yeah. Anyway, so I had finished that one treatment week with my dad, and he took me out. We went to go see a friend who we hadn't seen since I was sick. But my dad had forgotten about the whole thing about not being around a work environment, or an environment that has dirt being dug up, let alone letting me go and play in the dirt and dig stuff up as well. So my mum had finally gotten out of hospital, and she was doing a lot better this time. She had suffered from some massive migraines and stuff, and she was on her way to getting that figured out too. And I remember my dad dropped me back at my mum's house, and I was just kind of chilling on the couch one day, and my mum's best friend, my mum's best friend showed up, and they were chatting, they were having coffee. I was just kind of sitting on the couch, just kind of watching Mythbusters, I believe it was at the time, funny enough, and just relaxing. And then I remember getting really, really hot, like to the point like where I was really sweating and I didn't know what's going on. I had a blanket at the time, I took it off and just didn't know what was going on. I'm back. Welcome back, Ben. And yeah, and one of the things they tell you, if your temperature goes above, is it 38 degrees? 38's bad, isn't it? Goes above like 38 degrees, that like you need to go straight into the hospital, because it means you have it would mean you would have an infection, and they can be really bad. So I remember sweating. My mom came over and she took my temperature in my left ear, and it was like something like 38.8, and the temperature in my other ear, and it was something like 38.4. And for some reason my ears had two different temperatures, which confused the fuck out of the nurses whenever in the hospital taking temperature stuff too, because they had to average it out, because yeah, so it was over 38. It was like pretty high 38s, nearly 39s, I mean. So they immediately were like, okay, we need to go to the hospital. And my best friend's mum, my mum's best friend, took us in her car, because my mum was just in the backseat looking after me. We got in. My mum called ahead. We were onto the ward. We found a room, and they started running some tests. And I had gotten very sick again. Having cancer, you're already sick, but I had gotten sick from an infection that I had gotten from the week with being with my dad, because he didn't look after me, and we were around the building site, and I was playing in the dirt and digging up the ground, you know, things that like we were all advised not to do. Also, this is another thing I completely forgot. When I got diagnosed with cancer, my brother had a pet snake. I don't know why. He wanted a pet snake, he got it, and then never looked after it after that. But we also had a dog called Sandy, and we had a dog called Neo. Neo went to a family friend, because we're told we're not allowed to have dogs in the house. Sandy, unfortunately, was given up for adoption. So yeah, I was given up for adoption, so we didn't have Sandy anymore, and I was quite upset about it, because Sandy was in theory my dog at the time, because she was also a foster dog, so foster dog, but we decided to keep. So we didn't have a dog at the time or anything like that, because they're all been excluded, like because of the risk of infection was so high from a snake or dogs bringing in stuff from the outside world, so because dogs stay up and sort of, they're just more worried about it. So with all the safeties in place, my dad had taken me to one of these things, and one of the big no-no zones, see what I mean? And I'd gotten sick from it, and my mum had to deal with it, and I had a temperature. They brought me in. I was on antibiotics. My blood was something was going on with my blood, to the point where I remember having to get a blood transfusion, because I was pale. I was just like no color to my skin apparently, and them giving the blood bag and stuff like that and going on a blood transfusion, it brought color back in along with antibiotics, brought me back up. But I was having really bad bowel problems as well at the time, and anytime you tried to go to the toilet, specifically number 2, whether I'm trying not to, okay, without getting too graphic, whether it is a pea, nut cell, or bigger, it was excruciating pain to even just try and pass solids, better lack of better words, during this week I was sick. And I remember after the week, my mum gave out hell to my dad about it and stuff like that. This is also the stage where I started to draw the divide between my dad and stuff like that, because it's just, I couldn't believe that, like, my mum had been so careful, but he had been so careless at the same time, because he's just not used to having to look after us full time. But yeah. I'm sure there's more parts to all to pull back, but at the moment I think we're okay with that part. But then obviously, then after that time, I had another month to go of treatment, and then you get like an MRI. And I remember finishing my treatment for the week, and I finished my treatment up. It was either on St. Patrick's Day or the day before St. Patrick's Day. It was one of those 2 days. What day is St. Patrick's Day on again? 17th of March, isn't it? For some reason I think St. Patrick's Day is on the 17th of March. I don't know why. Yeah. So I finished my treatment on the 17th of March. I finished my treatment on St. Patrick's Day, and that was the last part of the treatment I had to take. And then a little bit on that day, you also go for an MRI, and they look over the MRI with the radiologist. And the radiologist has found nothing. There was no signs of cancer. I had bad luck with holidays. I mean, St. Patrick's Day I can have good luck with. It is a day to be lucky, and this day we had my MRI, and we had the Dr. Michael Capper had come down again. And I see him a lot, by the way, not just the times I mentioned. When you start your treatment each week and end your treatment each week, and in between he will come and see you and do rounds and see how you're feeling, because he had to sign off before you could go home for your rest time. And I remember him coming down and telling my mom that, like, yeah, we have no signs, we don't see any visible signs of cancer, we believe that it has been taken care of, but now we go into the next fight. And the next fight is the next 5 years. So over the next 5 years is the time when, if cancer returns in this time, it will come back twice as aggressive and twice as bad. So yeah. So the rest of that time, every month to it was like, it started off every once a month we go and see the doctor at that stage, then went to every 2 months, every 3 months, every 6 months, and then to a year, and then to, I'm trying to remember, 20, no, I can't remember the date, but then when my 5 years being clear remission, they call it you're in a remission once you pass the 5 years, which is a chance of highly unlikely of cancer coming back at all. There is still like a small chance, but it's very, very unlikely that it does happen. So yeah, that is only part of what the shit I've been through. It's the cancer stuff. It's why my back is very bad, and Ben, as you asked earlier on, is also one reason I still have problems with my back to this day. My back to this day, because all this back damage happened before I had, previewing your growth spurt, has underlying issues. Now, in fairness to the doctor, who was Dr. Michael Capper, he was like, you should be fine. I don't see it having any life impacts, but we don't know, so we just need to keep an eye on things. So that's what we did. We just kept 9 things for the next 5 years. And yeah, sorry that it still affects you. It's just one of those things. It's a pain in the ass, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I really tried not, and all the carries on me on war train. Yeah, such kind of drugs fat ass through war train all the time. Absolutely murders my back, for fuck's sake. But yeah, so throughout this time, going through school, through secondary school, high school for you guys, oh god, I remember through high school, through thing, but then 5th year in high school, which I don't know what grade that equals to you guys in fucking high school, because I would have been 17 at the time. So whoever you are, 17, the last year before you go to college. I don't know what it is for you guys, but in around there. Because in Ireland you got 5th years and 6th years. I was in 5th year when this next shit started happening. Senior year, okay. Senior year 12 or 13. Okay, somewhere around there. So, year wasn't going too bad, and I'm trying to remember when this happened. Fuck me, was this around this day? Alright. 10th grade in Germany or 9th, depends, yeah. Well, back to work, see you later. Take it easy, Jiggy. But yeah. Anyway, so some stage at 5th year, I know it extended into 6th year a little bit. I think it was somewhere there. Somewhere. I can't remember exactly when it was. I think it was around towards the end of 5th year. I remember it affected me into 6th year, but somewhere around that time, we had my gran on my mum's side had passed away. Now my mum and my gran never really got along, but it was kind of a rough time of how it went about. I remember we heard that my gran was rushed to hospital on the Friday. My mum, her brother, and her sister, who they don't really talk at the time because they were kind of estranged, end up coming together. I went with my mum for support. I remember my gran was in the ICU, and that she's in the ICU because of what because she wasn't looked after, and the care nurse did a bad job, etc., stuff like that. I don't remember the rest of the reasons why she didn't. So I just know she did in there. I remember I was there for my mum. I remember not going into the ICU a lot because they could only have like 2 people in there at a time, and they kept trading places with my mum and my mum and her sister and her brother. And I was just kind of sitting out in the hallway, just waiting. So we were waiting the Friday night, we were waiting the Saturday night, and the doctors had come and told them that, like, look, we have to wait till the ethics board come in on Monday, because the only thing keeping her alive at the moment was the life support system. So they had to wait for an ethics board to talk to them and then see if that's what they want to do too, and then they went through the motions of that stuff. And if anyone's been through like a parent or somebody that passed, and you kind of know what happens. I mean, having on a date and a time, yeah, exactly, sure. But yeah, so yeah, this happened. My mom was really upset, and I remember being there for, kind of just being her rock, so she didn't feel like she wouldn't be like alone, especially being with her brother and her sister, and again not getting along too well. And yeah, on the Monday morning, I remember I went to school, because there's nothing they can do. We're just waiting, and then I remember the vice principal of our secondary school came looking for me in the PE room and told me, "Hey, you need to go into your class. You need to grab your bag. A neighbor is going to come get you, and they're going to bring you to the hospital." I was like, "Oh?" They're like, "Yeah, so just wait for the neighbor to arrive, and then he'll bring you in." So I got my stuff, went out, waited for the neighbor. Neighbor brought me to the hospital. Went I had to fucking wind my way through the hospital because the fucking mazes the hospitals are to try and find the right area I'm going to. Hmm? Yeah. But yeah, I know there's an ad coming up. I will wait again until the ad is done. So yeah, for anyone else though, if you don't have ads or want to ask questions, this is a good time to ask more questions. We're not exactly at the part where I would warn about trauma. Well, technically, it is technical trauma, but it's stuff that I'm more worried about talking about. It's stuff that's a bit harder to talk about. What countries have I visited? I have visited Spain, Mallorca, Tenerife, Canary Islands, America, the UK. That's about it. I didn't. My family wasn't exactly fortunate growing up. Came from a struggling household, so we kind of like budget maybe once every 2 years, something like that, if we could afford it. That type of thing. You mean? The outbreak timer in chat is different to the one on my end. I get okay. I've never left America. But you're American. That explains it. You can walk. You could fly for 8 hours and still not be out of America, Dragon. Just got team killed. That's not good. That's very much not good. That is very, very much not good. Aye. Yeah. Once this outbreak is done, we'll keep going. I've not been to America. America's great. I do enjoy going to America. I do very much enjoy going to America. I do. Never been to Norway. Nope, never been to Norway. I could drive for 8 hours and not leave Texas. Exactly. You're a lot luckier than my mum. I don't know if it's luck or just something else. I've been to almost every West Europe country except UK and Ireland. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Back. But yeah. Yeah. So, no, like they removed the main cause of cancer. I mean, you can operation to remove the cancerous part of your body. I mean, there's also like radiotherapy as well, which I didn't have to do. Recent MRI scans I've seen more. Well, hopefully they do get it all. Like I said, they can probably get as much as they can get, and then they'll just treat the rest of it. So I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so yeah, had to wait. We waited until Monday, and then the ethics board agreed, and if what the family wanted to do was to let her go. They let her go, and they decided that it was time to let my grand go. And I remember the entire week, them organizing the funeral, everything going down. I was there for all of it, and it was just one of those things. And I wasn't as close to this grand as like with this grand as much as like most people will be with their grandparents, even because again, with my mum being estranged and stuff like that, and the only people who ever really brought me to see that side of the family was my dad. Oh shit, that's rough, A380. But yeah. And then we had the funeral. I was meant to be a coffin bearer. However, my back at the time, said no. And they had to get someone else to do it, which is fair, so. And then I think it was 3 months later, my granddad on my dad's side of the family passed away or something like that. So I got hit in with like 2 losses in the family, and then from there on out, school was just fucked for me. I went into a really bad pit. And yeah, dropped out of school, didn't want to do it, was in a bad place. I remember the school year started up. I remember going in for a few days here and there, but not really, just kind of giving up. And then had talked with our GP and stuff like that, and my GP was like, "Oh, I'm kind of worried about you." I wanted to go to this mental health clinic in a town over and see and see what they say. So went and seen them and got talking to them. They were doing their examinations and stuff like that, and they're like, "We're gonna put you some antidepressants because from the sounds of things and the way you've been and what you and the little bit you told me you've been through, hello, Gendum. I think you are suffering from like some really bad depression. It should be noted that it just didn't go like that. There was a lot of things in between that and that. There was a lot of there was a there was, you know, self-harming involved and stuff like that. Never used any sharp objects. The only thing I really did was I used to keep my nails kind of long and use my nails to kind of like pierce into my skin, and to do that as a way of like doing damage to myself in ways. Hitting walls, grabbing like digging my nails into my arm and stuff like that, like all this stuff to cause damage to myself. I became introverted. I didn't talk to real life friends anymore. I kind of backed up. Yeah, this is things getting deep. This is before. This is just explain. I have all these issues before we get into the rest of it. But yeah, and I remember going in, and they were like, I explained to them what was going on with that, and they were like, right, we're gonna put you in some antidepressants. We're gonna see if this helps. You're gonna come in every day to this little support group where it's people that keep an eye on you, and they're in an environment surrounded with other people who are also that way. I mean, you're all right. You're all right, by the way, gentlemen. If you really wanted to, you could always go back and watch the short on YouTube. You mean? And that will fill you in. You mean? All right. But yeah, I remember being on the antidepressants for the first time too, and they were so weird sensation being on them. I remember describing it as like a fake happiness. That I couldn't tell if I was actually happy, or if it was the medicine making me happy, or what it was doing to me at the time. And yeah, I was really trying to struggle like what I wanted to do with life and stuff like that, especially with the way I was and stuff like that. So I remember the first thing I wanted to do was to make sure I got myself on social welfare, to something to kind of support myself, since I would be turning 18 soon-ish into this part of the year timeline. Yeah. But this went on for a few months, and then when I turned 18, I was like, fuck it, I need to do something. Heard that the army was doing the recruitment drive. I remember talking to a mutual friend of mine, Luz, at the time, and she said she would help me get into the right shape for it and stuff like that. And I went and tried out for the army fitness test. Didn't do too bad. You're meant to be able to do this run a certain distance within like a minute and a half or something like that. I remember doing that, just being a bit minutes short, and that was because I had stitches in my side because I hadn't done any running prior to it. So I was just pushing myself like as hard as I could. And then I remember not getting that far. I was kind of bummed out about it, and then it kind of fell into a cycle of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Kind of just cruising through life, kind of just very much just very much just like focusing online and like being a lot more online environment with like doing games, stuff like that. But like just in general, just along those things. I don't know how to explain it. That's literally what I just got up to. Yeah. So this went in this way for a little bit. I think it was until I hit like 20. 20. Might have been 2021. I can't remember. No, that's what I'm trying to figure out now. So it's around this part. That's what I'm trying to figure out this next part. So which didn't happen as early as you think it did. It happened between 19 and 20. I'll try to remember like the time of events. So, this is where I will give everyone a warning, because if this is we've gotten to this part, and this is the part that I'm not proud of, I'm not happy about. It still lives rent free in my head. There's a lot of trauma you guys might hear, manipulation. This is where this gets hard for me to say stuff. Yeah, so at the time, lonely, you know, going through lonely on my own, isolated. So I'm going through like wanting to meet girls, you know what I mean? So using different apps and stuff like that, different sites. And yeah, my mom was scheduled to go away with my brother for a week, and I couldn't be fucked wanting to go away on a holiday. I didn't like the idea of it. It wasn't for me, and it took a lot of convincing for me to convince my mom where to just go on the holiday. It's fine. I can look after the dogs. So don't have to worry about paying for that type of stuff or anything like that. Do you mean? That's right. I have forgotten. When I was clear of cancer, before we jump in, I'll give you some bright stuff before we jump in that. When I was clear of cancer, this is when we got Ruby. That's the picture I put into the Discord. We got Ruby as a celebration for when I was clear of cancer. And she's an awesome little dog. Stubborn little bitch, but awesome little dog. She's a little wiener dog, long-haired winter dachshund. And my mum wanted to recuperate some money from buying them because she was 800 euros to buy a purebred one, you mean? What kind of cancer did you have on my ass? I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a adult cancer of the bone. In the back. The spine. Yeah. And then we bred Ruby a few times. One time we had Holly, who me and Lou call basically the cock block, because anytime when Lou was after all this shit, when me and Lou got together, she would literally sit between me and Lou and be like, no, space. Well, sitting between us. So, but yeah, that's because the dogs play into it a little bit in this. Cause I was looking after the dogs at the time when my mum and brother went away, and I was just kind of scrolling through the stuff, and then came across. I'm going to nickname what I've always called this person when talking about this shit: the Witch. The Witch is a very suiting name for this person, because as you will hear the stories, you will probably agree, or not agree, might have worse things to say, but for ease of sake, there's referencing the Witch. So I had my mum and my brother had gone away the first day, and the next day I had gotten talking to the Witch on an app, and we arranged to meet up. She told me she had 2 kids, and I was like, it's fine, it doesn't bother me. Look, like the lie my concern, fine, it doesn't bother me, because at the time I was pretty good with interacting with kids and stuff like that. I because of Barrettstown, I will go back and talk about Barrettstown afterwards, because that's a lot brighter topic to talk about after talking about this stuff. Because Barrettstown is a very important piece of my life that I end up doing for this stuff. So, and if anyone knows what Barrettstown is, it's basically a summer camp for 6 kids. Kind of like how I was myself when I was younger, you know what I mean? Anyway, I want to get this part done with, because otherwise I won't get to it in time. So yeah, I met her, we talked online a little bit. She had 2 kids and invited me to come over. I came over, and I came over, and we talked, we interacted. She had 2 kids. I need to come up with kids' names. I need to come up with names that aren't actually theirs. Huh? Yeah, so we had kid A, which is a young like kid between the ages of 5 and 6, and she had kid B, who was more in the ages of 1 to 2, somewhere around there. Sam and Polly. I mean, fuck it, that could work, do you mean? No, just give it A and B. I think A and B is fine. Child 1, child 2. Yeah, A and B. So A is a younger kid between like 5 and 6, and B is the older kid 5 and 6, and the younger kid is B between 1 and 2. Okay. A is a boy, B is a girl. It's like boy and girl. You know what? That's easy. The boy and the girl. That's the easy way to do it because it does matter to the story. So I had met them, and the boy was very happy to show things off and his toys and stuff like that. I was interacting with him, and he was showing me his car, and his car wasn't working. His little remote control car. So I was like, oh fuck it, I know a little bit how to fix some of this stuff. He brought it over to me. I started tweaking with it, and I got it working for him, and I gave it back to him, and he was really appreciative of it. And then the little girl was kind of just doing her own thing, and the witch was kind of happy with the direction it was going and stuff like that. And we had spent a good bit of the day kind of talking and interacting, and things looked good and stuff like that, and we were just having a good time. So much so I wasn't paying attention to the fucking time, and was she close to my age? She at the time would have been 2 or 3 years older than me. So if I was 20, she was like 23, 24. Because I remember I was 20, 21, she was 23, 24, something like that. But yeah, I remember we were talking so much. I realized the time. I tried to go make the run for the bus. Ended up missing the bus. I explained it to her as well. I ended up missing the bus, and she was skeptical about letting me stay over because I had nowhere else to go at the time, because I was out in the middle of fucking nowhere, out in an area of Dublin called I think the area name was fine because I'm not around there. Around Clondalkin. Not Clondalkin. Clondalkin was afterwards. Around Tala. No, that's where further out too. Fucking away. It was a pain in the ass. It's like 2-hour travel to get there via public transport, right? But yeah, so we had a week of just, you know, I stayed, and then we went to like a local shopping center the next day. Had a good time interacting with each other and stuff like that, and yeah, so on and so forth. I then had found out that the boy and the girl were from 2 different fathers. The boy was from a guy, an older man, who she was with for years and married to, but never really got unmarried to because I don't know, it's just fucking complicated. It's from Pakistan, so it'd be Muslim. Yeah, Muslim religion works. I can't remember exactly in my head. And they had a kid together, which is the boy. They broke up They broke up because she had cheated on him with the guy who she had the girl with, and the guy was Indian. So, anyone looking in at the moment will have realized me hearing that should have been immediate red flags. But me at my age, my naivety wasn't paying attention to it at all. But yeah, I remember the first few weeks were all right. I remember we gotten back from holiday, and what was I gonna say? I remember we gotten back from holiday. Oh. Hey, Krieger, thanks so much for the tier 1 sub, my good sir, for 5 months in a row. How are you doing, my good sir? Hello, Krieger. The rest of the staff are in the, well, you can probably see them in case you want to, you know, be in there with them. And if you missed any of the story, Krieger, you can always go back and watch the stream later on. So, sorry, a lot of this is blacked out on me. I'm trying to remember parts of it. But one thing my head does a lot of the time when being through it, I think I've learned to just kind of bury it down. And it's hard to remember some of the stuff sometimes. I'm alright. Emotional. The hard stuff to talk about. So. Where am I? Yeah, so I this is kind of a little bit important, but at the time my mom was also with someone too, a guy at the time, and he was a painter. He had painted a house, and they've gotten along really well and stuff like that, and they started like seeing each other. So when my mom and my brother got back from their holidays, me and my mom's partner at the time went to go pick them up from the airport, you know, and then went to Keelan's. We had food. I then broke the news about what was going on. I had seen the girl last week, and that like she had 2 kids, and like kind of interested in her and stuff like that, and etc. etc. My mom was warning me, being careful, saying, "Oh, she's got 2 kids, yada yada yada." You know what I mean? And I was saying, "Oh, it's the boy's birthday next week, and I want to go. I want to be there and help out and stuff like that." You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. Yeah, I remember my mom giving me a present I can give for like the. No, it was the girl's birthday. That was the girl's birthday, because I remember there was a reason my mom gave me a small little quilt. It was for the little girl. That's what it was. And then yeah, so the birthday came around. I met her mom. She was kind of standoffish with me, and then we had her first part, the witch's first ex, which guy from Pakistan, came up, and he was doing the food and stuff like that, and he's very much a typical person from Pakistan. I don't know how to describe it in the best ways. Of like claiming the place is his. The best way I can describe it. Like, even though it was her apartment, he felt like he could just walk in and own it because they had been together and stuff like that. And yeah, it was very weird interaction. And then we're also waiting for her other partner to show up, the one who had the other kid, because we're there for the little one's birthday. And I just remember like a distinct awkwardness in the air between them all. Like they were like I don't know, describe it. There's this kind of territorial. There was kind of like trying to be top dog territorial, like trying to like presume the most, like trying to be the alpha of the room. I guess the way you can call it. That's the way I can just kind of describe it. It was a very weird tension, this, because it's just, you know, the older dudes and the student dudes, and then myself, and it's just a weird tension in the area. I mean, I don't know. It was kind of hard to. It's a weird environment. I don't know. That's the best way I can describe it. It's just a very weird environment. Yeah. Fuck me. A lot of this is blacked out. I remember the day must have went alright-ish after that, because I just blacked me out a little bit. Hey, CSTZ _. Thank you so much for the follow. Big love to your face, and welcome to the journey, you sexy bastard. Hope you're having an amazing time. If not, hope I can cheer you up just a little bit, my dude. I want everyone to lost and listen for to say hello. Hello, Admiral Trench. You're good, my dude. You're good. Glad to see you around. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of this is blocked in my head at the moment. I'm trying to remember certain parts, because certain parts are important to the story. So, the witch, yeah, so that had happened, and then the witch started. How do I explain this? The witch started to try her luck with to try testing the waters. That's what it is. She tried to start trying to test the waters. And this wasn't just after the birthday and stuff like that, because I'd go up a good few times a week and stuff like that. And she started testing the water, seeing how much she could get away with and stuff like that. With my help, with her things are awkward for the birthday party, yeah, but they testing the waters. And what I mean by testing the water, it's kind of hard to explain. It's her using herself as a reward to try and make me do things I was uncomfortable with. It's the best way I can describe it. So a controlling sort of way. And this would go from the littlest of things of making me deal with weird jobs for her in the apartment, or or indecent things. I get the best way I can describe it is indecent things. So I don't want to go into too much detail about it because, again, I'm not happy about it or proud about it. I'm more still ashamed about it and stuff like that. You mean so? Like one of the way I give an example. Like she would constantly get kittens, and then when the kittens got past the kitten stage, she would sell the kittens back on the Facebook market and kind of pawn them off, and it was kind of like this revolving door of just of stuff like that. You know what I mean? I remember like one of the kittens, she didn't know how to feed the kittens or what they liked, and would constantly give the kittens chicken. And if you know cats don't deal with chicken right. Cats will, you know, have diarrhea with chicken. You know what I mean? And I remember one specific day, I remember coming to see her, and the kitchen stunk like fuck. Now the kitchen was open. You have the kitchen one end, you had the living room on the other end, and it was kind of open plan. There's this hallway, there's an L-shaped hallway leading up to it, right? And the kitchen just stunk, and I couldn't, like, she was asking me to try and find the smell. I was like, the smell smells like it's coming from like under the kitchen cabinets, you know what I mean? And I remember she was like, oh, can you look for it? I was like, you might as well get the landlord look at this, because like I don't want to break something, you know what I mean? And then she started doing the thing of, oh, if you do this, I'll let you do this, you know what I mean? Type of thing. And I was just like, fuck it, whatever. So I remember taking the skirting off the fucking Yoki Bob and just seeing fucking, not just not a pool, but if you could make a pattern in a circle that's brown that repeats constantly, that is literally what was laced underneath this thing. And it was just, the smell coming from it too was absolutely horrible, because it had been literal shit that had been sitting there for weeks, you know what I mean, from this cat. And me at the time, just being blind, dumb, and reckless, and not naive, went and dealt with it. Took me like an hour or two, went and dealt with it, and was just, yeah. And I remember she was saying, oh, like, you did this, I'll do this type of thing. And then like I did the thing, and then she would kind of still not do what she said she was going to do, but then would be very coy and kind of try to see what she can get away with, you know what I mean? And that's one of, like, it's like the instance, like one of the instances of like that type of thing. There was anytime she didn't want to deal with a situation with a neighbor or something like that, led you on. That's a good way of saying it, would lead me on. So sorry, that again was the same thing again. I would make me go and do it and leave me on to see if something would happen, you know what I mean? Over and over again, like this type of thing. And this is just in the one apartment, not even before she moved, because it got worse after she moved apartments. Taking advantage, yeah, that stinks. Cats and raw chicken does not work. Oof, yes, agreed. I'm gonna keep an eye on the ad timer thing too, don't forget. It also gives me a break in between. But yeah, and then I remember, like, I'd never gone out to a nightclub, and this is probably where my distaste for it still comes from this day of just not wanting to. It's just how this went out, because she was like, oh, you and I should go out to a club. I was like, I've never been to one. And she was like, oh, it'd be fine, it'd be fun. And I was like, all right. And then she was like, maybe we should find someone to go babysit. So we went to go and find someone to go babysit, you know what I mean? And and look after the kids. And basically me and her, like, I always like to just dress. If I'm going out and I know it's somewhere nice, I will dress up for the occasion. I had like slacks, I had my white shirt, I had the waistcoat. I think you've seen the waistcoat, you mean? That type of stuff, and the tie and stuff like that. And not knowing what the hell I'm doing, by the way. In church, feel like church your mates. Yeah, dress appropriate. Yeah, exactly. So we brought the kids over to the previous room of mine, and they were staying in this random stranger's apartment in Dublin, who she'd only met this first time, who's takes care of kids. You know what I mean? Like, she was comfortable doing it because it was her kid, so I didn't really give a fuck at the time. And then I remember we'd meet up with her brother. She had warned me that her brother's gonna be a bit of an alcoholic, so we need to be careful and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I had, at this point, at 20, I still had not drank any alcohol at all. But this night, and things went weird. So we went to this club, we got in, and she asked for herself a drink. I asked for something. I remember calling it a Fat Frog was a drink. It was like this carbonated, fizzy, alcoholic drink that was kind of similar to like soda. And her brother got whatever and stuff like that. And then we kind of all just sat down, we're talking and stuff like that. And then her brother went off, and then her brother came back with like 3 or 4 guys. And then these guys, I don't know, these guys were, I guess you could say, their local go like out nightclubbers. I mean, it was really weird just because like nightclubbers are not afraid to find new people and like interact with new people. You know what I mean? I remember one of the guys came over and it said like came over to me and was like, "Why do you look like you do the mortgage on my house for me?" You know what I mean? This is the way I was dressed. You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't know. It was very off-centered, cut off. 30 seconds. Okay. I'll leave it there for a second until the ad come in. So now would be a good time. Don't want to ask any questions while the ad's going. For people who kind of don't have ads, might be a good time now. Blue, this is the reason why I'm very good at spotting red flags, by the way. You remember the conversation we had a few weeks back? Are you currently in a romantic relationship? Yes, 2. One over there, and Angel's in the States, because I'm poly. I got cheese flags? Yes. Yeah, I am. I am poly. I am poly. Lou is mono. Angel is poly. Does spawn camping boost semen production? No, it lowers it down by a lot. You'll make yourself pregnant. That's how bad it'll be. You'll basically be like Cartman's mom. That's a hermaphrodite, I think, isn't it? Who has both organs? I think so. Dang, I'm pregnant. Yes, you're pregnant with your girlfriend's baby. Oh, Blue must be on his 5th kid by now, probably. Probably, if we're being honest. I mean, probably. I can almost guarantee that. I mean this in a really nice way, by the way, because Blue can take a joke. I can guarantee Gake baby voice is laughing like fuck right now. Wait, I'm waiting for the stream to catch up to anybody here.
Okay, now he's laughing.
What? Yeah. Only got the bunny. That's called bestiality, my friend. I have 4 very tasty looking batteries. No. 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 I'm finding back. Welcome back, Jendam. Yeah, I knew this part with taking and talking about stuff will take a while, which is why I didn't mind doing this. We have like 2 hours of hide and seek. I think we'll probably just get an hour playing games. I have 8. What the hell? Congratulations on your pregnancy. Batteries. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Does helping repair teammates boost semen? Yes. Yes, helping repair teammates does boost semen, and that's very random for anyone who came back from an ad. And the first thing here is bestiality. Don't worry about it. Fagoozy, fagazi, fagoozy, fagazi. Alright, anyway. So, we're in the club. We're in the club, right? And the witch is like, I want to go dance and stuff like that. And I was just like, she was like, Connor, come dance with me. I'm like, all right, I'll go dance and stuff like that. And then she was holding her drink in her hand because obviously we're being careful in the club and stuff like that. You know, don't want anyone put anything in her drink. Do you mean? And then she gets told off by one of the bouncers, like, you can't dance on the dance floor with a drink in your hand because if it spills, it calls a slipping hazard, etc., etc. So she goes and brings the drink over to her brother, and her brother watches the drink and stuff. And she kind of we just kind of dance. You can call it that. Anyway, club ends, and she's hungry and her brother's hungry too, so we wind up walking down to like the McDonald's on O'Connell Street and so like that. And we're trying to figure out how we're gonna get home. And then she's like, "Oh, the little boy's dad works as a taxi guy. I'll just get him to bring us home." You know what I mean? So calls him up and stuff like that, and distracts him from his like job and so. And she comes. He picks me and her up, but doesn't pick her brother up because her brother managed to get a bus that went back home to where he was from. Doing. So we ended up getting the taxi right back and stuff. Blue's running dry then, yeah. But yeah, so to me. So anyway, we end up heading back to her place and stuff like that. And I remember the dude's kind of been like really pushy, really annoying her and stuff like that. Kept going like, "Is that your new boyfriend? Is that your new boyfriend? Do you mean so that, etc." etc. It's like really kind of test the water, and she was like, I don't know. And I'm just sitting there in the back going, just in my head going, what the fuck is going on? You mean? Anyway, we finally get back to her apartment. Her apartment's got like a gate. They just put a key code into and stuff like that. And I remember kind of giving the guy some sass back because he was giving me some during the car ride back. He was like, "Oh, the gate code is this," and I was like, "Oh yeah, and the door code is this." But you'd know it if you actually visit. You know what I mean? and then kind of went out and just did it, and got opened the door and stuff like that. And then fucking yeah, he went off and we went upstairs and stuff like that. And then she was going like, "Oh, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. You're gonna stay in the couch. I mean, I'm gonna go sleep in her bed, in her own bed." And I was like, "Yeah, fine. This is the way things have been anyway. I mean, doesn't really surprise me. Yeah, little cocky little shit." He was giving it to me. I'm just gonna give it back to him. And this is how where I would it. I was not afraid to do stuff like that. Vastly different now. So yeah, that happened. And I remember like maybe 20 minutes later, she came out. I was like, "All right, like." Because she's used to having the kids in the bed with her. She was like feeling lonely, and then that happened. Nothing happened. I remember waking up the next day because it was something like fucking 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning when we finally went to sleep. And the girl who wanted the kids picked up from her place from 9, and then the witch was like, "Oh, can you go get the kids? It gives me some time to myself and I can clean up." So we literally got like 3 hours sleep, and then I'm up, running out the door, trying to catch a bus to go get the kids from the place. To get the kids from this place, then bring the kids back on. Not have enough money to bring the kids back on the bus and stuff like that, and then get back to her place. And yeah, and that's just one of the stuff. And then she was only way she could live in the apartment because she had some sort of government help, and the guy who owned the apartment wanted to rent it out to someone else who actually paid proper rent and stuff like that. So I ended up trying to find her a different place to move into, and she did. And then this is where just so stupid shit. So it came to the day of her of the move all day. She had finally convinced some dude with a van to get all her stuff from her first apartment and bring it to their place for just like 40 euros, like stupid cheap prices, you know, just because she kept saying she can't afford it anymore and she needs someone to do it. So this happened. And the guy came in expecting, oh, everything should be in boxes and we should be able to go. And he asked if everything packed up. And I went to him and was like, no, because she hasn't packed a single thing yet, even though she was moving for the last like 2 or 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Never even started to prep or anything like that. So we're literally, both me and him, about running around, grabbing things and putting into black bags, chucking into the back of the van. And then he's like, all right, I'll meet you there. And she goes, we don't have a car or anything to get there. Can you bring us with him? So we literally take me and her in this guy's stranger's van, sitting in the stuff, having the kids on my lap, on my lap, one on her lap, going down to this place. And then the guy's, all right, I've got another job in an hour. You mean we need to empty the van out? See what I mean? And I was like, okay. So we end up emptying the van out of all the things except for like the couch, because fuck this couch, by the way. So we got the couch out of the van. And I was like, he was like, where is the apartment? It's like, it's up 3 flights of stairs. It's on the 3rd floor. It's like, is the elevator working? I was like, no, the elevator is not working. And he was like, how are you gonna get up there? I don't know. I will figure it out myself. God damn it. And he was like, no, I'm not gonna leave you alone with a fucking with a couch. Come here. So we made him wrestle this fucking couch up the skinny ass stairs that barely fit the fucking thing. Got it through the skinny ass fucking door. The hallway was so like literally 3 foot wide, to where we're literally having to bend this fucking couch around the corner, lifting it up and down and jiggling down the hallway to where it barely fits through the other fucking door, and we put it down on the ground and put the cushions on it. The witch then comes in, happily, jauntily sits her ass down on the couch and just sits there. I'm like, are you gonna come help me bring the rest of stuff up? Because there's like, it's gonna make 100 trips if I end up doing it off my own. She's like, yeah, I'll come in a minute. A minute turns into 20 minutes. 20 minutes turns into 30 minutes. 30 minutes turns into an hour. An hour turns into 4 hours. 4 hours turns into 6 hours. By midnight, I finally have everything up into the room. When we got there at 2. So I spent like 8 hours? I can't do it basically 8-10 hours moving shit up myself. Now, gratefully, the kid who are we talking about now? I'm talking about the witch. This person is nicknamed the witch. I will never give a name for this person. They don't deserve a name. And she's like that. She sits her ass down. I spent 8-10 hours bringing all the shit up on my own. Like the kid is trying, the older kid boy is trying to help us well. I give him little things to carry up, make sure he's carrying up while I'm carrying like 2 or 3 of these heavy ass fucking things up the stairs. All right, the witch had kids. Yes, the witch had, I would have said something earlier, but it happens. See, you would, but I'm just like, again, she kept on. She did the whole thing of like, oh, if you get this done, don't worry. Like, she would leave me on again, you know, reward for doing something like this. You know what I mean? Whatever. And I remember getting towards the end of it, nearly at midnight, and one of the neighbors who basically lives on the bottom floor, has been seeing me doing this all day, and like finally came out and was like, "Do you want a hand?" I was like, "If you wouldn't mind." And he came and helped me bring like the last little bits up. So I had to one towards the end, but it was still like, damn. So we have all this stuff built in, and everything's finally in there. And she goes, "Oh, the beds aren't built." And I was like, "What have you been doing?" You know what I mean? I've been running up and down the stairs the entire time. Why couldn't you do the belt? She's like, "Oh, it's too heavy to build the beds." She was like, Sue, the beds are too heavy to make." I was like, "God damn it." All right. I was like, "Have you got a screwdriver or anything? Because I need the screwdriver to fucking screw the bolts into the thing." She's like, "No." I was like, "Okay. Do we have a knife?" She's like, "Yes." I went with a knife and assembled the bed frame with a fucking knife. But it was her bed. And then the other kid's bed wasn't assembled. And she was like, "Oh, no, the kids will sleep with me." And I was like, "So what happened to me?" And she was like, "Well, you just sleep in the couch like you normally do." You know what I mean? After like 8 or 10 hours of just doing this, and then she kept leading me on and saying stuff. Do you mean? Aye. That was just a moving in day. Just fucking annoying as shit. And then at this time, I had a massive falling out with my family over her, because my mum and my brother could see what was going on, but I was too stupid and naive and seeing stuff. Do you mean? I called I think would like to lie, my good sir. I had massive falling out. I'd only go home whenever I had to go collect like social welfare money and stuff like that, and just generally bad decisions. You know what I mean? Like, I know that looking back now. So I'm trying to think. Where am I? At this time, I remember somewhere at this time after we moved in, I knew that from the stuff I'd seen, she wasn't a good mum, and I was trying to be there for the kids so they had someone stable in their life. I remember that was a thought process I had the day after we moved in, because I had brought in the girl and the boy out to in the new apartment place, like to kind of play with them a little bit in the heat and just see what's going on. And I remember the little girl wouldn't stop holding on to me and stuff like that. And I felt happy in the moment, because I was like, this was what it must be feels like to have your kids, someone that you like, that like look up to you and like care about you. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, a knife creaker. Sorry, I didn't see that a minute ago. I'm just so in the fucking thing. I remember this. So I remember having the thought process of like, I know things were dumb, but I was like, they couldn't get much worse than this. Like, I can at least be here for the kids. Make sure they got something stable in their life. I remember the older boy started school in like the next month or so. I was just like, okay, some normality, some like stable parts of their life are going to come out. Sort of a stable part. You want to have kids when you're older? I do plan to. Would like to. So yeah. By the way, keep this in mind. This is like everything I'm telling you. By the way, happened in a space of 4 months, and I think we're only in like the second month of shit. If I remember correctly, from the stories that matter, for the context. But yeah, I remember like at this time she's still leading me on and stuff like that. I remember like from like little things of like what was it? Little things of like oh, her clothes were just in a state in the corner, so I would go in and fold them, and then like you get a kiss there or a peck there. That was it. I mean, like, and that was stuff I was going for. And at this time, I was blind and dumb, and I'd really fallen for her because I was just whatever, right? God. Right. Then I remember from when we were in the original apartment, one of the days we went into town, and she was like, oh, she wanted some Wi-Fi and stuff like that, and she was was like fuck, had done something that was kind of stupid financially. She had wanted better internet in the place, so she got one of these like mobile hotspot internet devices that she could have because the Wi-Fi in her place was bad, but she didn't have the money she didn't have the money at the time, and we went into this place and we said, if I take the loan out on it, the contract out on it, can I transfer the contract to her name after like the first month? I remember specifically the guys telling me yes in the store. So I did it. I got approved for it. We got the little mobile puck device for her, and I remember she was using that and she was enjoying using it. I remember like when we moved into the other apartment, the newer apartment, that she we tried to put in her name. I remember calling up the place, and then the people on the phone were like saying, no, you can't do that. And I remember telling the guy in the store, literally said, we can do this because I can't afford to have to keep it in my account. I don't have the money for it. And he was like, no, we can't do that. It's not part of the things. It's like, so what you'll have to do is you'll have to either pay or they'll end up coming to repossess stuff for it. And I was like, I kept telling them to fuck off, because it was like, they literally, the person in the store had literally told me that yes, that you can transfer the contract over to someone else's name. You know what I mean? And it's just dumb shit like that. I remember this is one of the days where I was trying to deal with this on the phone, and the little kid was kind of annoying her a little bit. Kept calling her, going, Mom, look at this. Hang on, not that story just yet, because there's context before that. So anyway, after she'd moved in like a week or two, I remember for some reason my mind going, oh, I know what to do. I have a credit union account. There is money in my credit union account. I can finally take some money out and treat her to something nice and surprise her. Why not do this? This is a great financially sound decision, Connor. You should definitely do this. I went to the credit union. If you know what credit union is, it helps to know. This is where stupid, blind me came in. And I remember taking out €1,000. So 1,200 euros, sorry. 1,200 euros out of my credit union. So savings that my mum had put together there, but I remember having all the access to it. Took the money out. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to town. I'm gonna get her like some jewelry she likes. I get her like, got her a teddy and stuff. I got flowers and I got something else. I can't remember what the fuck else. And I brought her and surprised her and stuff like that. You know, showing affection. You know what I mean? I remember her just saying thanks and really enjoying it and stuff like that. But then like no appreciation like was nothing was reciprocated, right? Nothing was like none of it was shown back. And I was kind of disappointed about it and stuff like that. And then she's all like, we've got this money now, we can do this stuff with it, we can go here and there, we can go to the UK, yada yada yada. And then she was like, oh, you know, I could use a new TV and stuff like that. And I was like, fuck, why don't just go get you a new TV? I have the money for it. Fuck, let's just do it. So don't ask me, we ended up going to a place called Argos. They existed still. I don't know if they're around at the moment still or not in the UK or Ireland. But we went to this place and I found a TV there. It was like €800 and I bought the TV. And then we had to get the TV home. We had to book a taxi, went to taxi back, and yada yada. We set it up and stuff like that. And she really enjoyed the TV. Red Flag Royale. Yeah, we're literally playing how many red flags can we get in a story, right? I don't know what we're up to at the moment. How many red flags are we up to in this very moment? I don't know. I think we're up to like 5 or 8, maybe 10. I can't think of it at the moment. There's too many damn red flags to the point I still wasn't seeing stuff, right? All of them. Red flag bingo. Yeah. So yeah, we had gotten home and stuff like that. We set the TV up and stuff like that. Again, she was really grateful for it. She gave me a hug, but it didn't go anything past that. Didn't reciprocate anything past that. You know what I mean? So, anyway, a few days later, then I started trying to deal with this contract bullshit that was going on, right? The one I took the contract in the name for. And again, I'm sitting there on the phone with the person talking, and then the little kid is annoying the witch a little bit. Going, look at this, look at this, look at this. I remember she is literally on the couch with her knees tucked into herself, kind of just sitting all small. You know exactly what I'm talking about now, so. Sitting all small. He has a full card now. Yeah, I got bingo. So. This is like a visual red flag. And this is definitely trauma if you guys are not a fan of this. No one here I think would be a fan of this one, but I'll tell you. I remember she was sitting there, legs up. The kid is draped over her knee, alright? She has a TV blaring with music in the background. I'm trying to listen to what's going on. The little girl's at my leg trying to get my attention. But I'm like, just give me a second. And then trauma bingo where nobody wins, even when you do. Yeah. So, she is just get annoyed by the kid. I'm like, she's telling me you're not paying the boy any attention. I'm like, I'm on the phone, I'm trying to figure his contracting out. Do you mean please just give me a second to deal with this. You know what I mean? And the kid's still in there going, like, mom, look at this, look at this, look at this. You know, trying to show her something. You know what I mean? And then I'm just sitting there. I'm standing there in the kitchen because I'm looking over, because not that far, like 15 feet, right? 15, 20 feet. And I'm just on the phone trying to deal with this thing. And the kid's on her knees, right? On like hanging out, like hanging slouched over the knees, you know what I mean? Like kind of annoying her. And all I remember is like her face just changed to a really evil scowl. Like slowly looked over at me and at full force kicked her legs outwards with the kid on top of her legs. The kid did a backflip, quite literally did a backflip through the sky to the air and slammed his head on the marble floor. He starts crying. She gets up, comes over to me and tells me that's my fault, I had to do that, and then fucks off to her room, not caring about the kid in which she just hurt right there and then in front of me. So he's screaming his head off because he's hurt, like really hurt. You know what I mean? The little the little girl starts crying too because of obviously how loud the kid is screaming. You know what I mean? I go over and try to get him up, and like pick him up and look at his back of his head to see if there's any blood coming out. Thank God there wasn't, for fuck's sake. I remember going to the freezer, grabbing something cold and putting it in the back of his head just to try and calm down the swelling before even the start. I knew this fucking thing was going to swell because of what just happened. So yeah, it's an image I have burned into my brain that I can never forget. So I'm sitting there on my own trying to calm the kids down. I finally get the kid, like the boy, after like 20 minutes to stop crying. He's like, it hurts. I know. And I'm like, tell me, I know it hurts blood. Just keep the ice there for a second. Here, like Paw Patrol's on I put on Paw Patrol in the background, stuff like that. I'm just trying to get him distracted. I was like, sit there a second. And then Charlotte went, what? I said a name. Fuck.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Don't bring attention to it.
The little girl went down the hallway and was like knocking on the witch's door. I'm nearly saying names that they were annoyed at them. Was knocking on the door, and she wouldn't open the door. You know what I mean? And she's doing like the little pat, you know, going like trying to get the attention to open the door. So I kind of look down the hallway and see she's trying to do that. I go over, I get the little girl, I bring her in, and I was like, just stay there, like watch Paw Patrol. And I go in, I open the door, I'm like, why did you do that to her, to the kid? You mean? And she was like, I wouldn't have to do that if you just paid him attention. It's like, what do you mean pay him attention? I am literally on the phone trying to sort this contract thing out that you asked me to do in the first place. Do you mean? And she was like, I shouldn't have to do that. Do you mean to get your attention? Like, I shouldn't have to like kick out to the kid. It's like, why do you even do it in the first place? Because you just, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, you're lucky like it didn't get any worse than what it was. And she just kept on blaming me for it, making it my fault and my fault and my fault. And kept on saying you need to apologize for it and stuff like that. But me and her were going at this for like 20 minutes, and I finally just went, fuck it, fine, it's my fault, whatever. You mean just to kill the argument, get rid of it, just be done with it. You mean? And yeah, it's one of those moments I look back on and I'm like, once everything was finally done with, I should have fucking called social services. It's one of those things I regret doing, honestly, because she is not a fit mother in like any sense of the case. She had and will and did continue to put herself forward. You mean? I regret not doing it. I really regret not doing it. Like a lot, right? But yeah, it just gets a string of badness from there. Things after that point took a real turn. So yeah, it's in the past now. Yeah. So this had happened, and yeah, I know. I don't plan to ever see that person again. So, but yeah, I think there was some time had passed, and then we had the next thing. I remember me not feeling well one day, and I had come down with something, and I remember like I wasn't feeling well, and she was like, "Hello, Flo," and she was like, "I wasn't feeling well, not feeling too great. I feel like I'm gonna be sick." And then she goes, well, you can't stay here because I don't want the kids getting sick. And at this time, I wasn't really in a great talking and in great. It was like it was very weird at home still. Yeah. I was like, I'm not feeling too well. And she was like, well, don't you stay in here? Don't you get the kids sick? And I was like, fine. So I packed my stuff. I went to the bus stop. And I sat at the bus stop. I really wasn't feeling well. And then I remember relieving myself. I ended up like crapping in my pants because I just wasn't feeling well whatsoever. Exactly. I ended up crapping myself, and I was like, oh no. I ended up messaging her saying I need to come upstairs. I need to change or something like that because I'm not feeling well after doing this. You mean? And she was like very skeptical about it, and like it took me a good bit to convince her to let me back in, so I can go and like bin the underwear I just crap myself in, and basically, she was like, still like, you still can't stay here. And I was like, for fuck's sake. So I ended up crossing my fingers and travel 2 hours, basically commando, with just my pants on, no underwear, hoping I didn't shit myself on the way home, like back home. And I ended up getting home and stuff like that. And I ended up being home for like a day or two, just not feeling well. Do you mean? I'm floating like the light, my good sir. Not feeling well. Trying to get through it, and yeah. Yeah. Anyway, a few days later, I end up feeling better. I go out. I remember I was just about better, and I was like up really early. I was staying up really late for some reason that night. I remember her messaging me something like at 5 a.m. in the morning, going like, oh, the little boy is sick at the moment. I need you. And the little boy is sick. You mean? And I was like, okay, fuck it. How am I gonna do this? But like I had no money at the time, but literally fuck all money at the time. So I did another thing I should never have done. I went down to my mum's purse and I literally borrowed a fiver of it so I can go and get the train and the ticket fare to go over to hers and go see what's going on. And I remember I got the first train, which is at like 6 a.m. and I got up to hers and it was like something like 7:30 in the morning. And I had what was it? The little kid, and we're like, okay, what's up with him? Like, and she was like, he's not feeling well. I need you to help me. I can't look after both of them. Do you mean? I was like, okay, well, so we end up just looking after the little kid most of the day. So from like 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m, he was doing okay. He wasn't doing too great, and then he just kept after 8 at night. He just kept on like kept vomiting. So we're like, okay, this is not good. We need to take him to a hospital. So we had got a taxi and we went straight to like the hospital. And we're in A&E, and we're staying like in A&E for another like 4 hours after that, after getting to A&E and stuff like that with the kid. Finally get seen by someone. I know I see thing. Finally get seen by someone, and they bring us through to the A&E room. They give us a room, and they give us a rundown that he's not sick. He's just severely dehydrated. Like, and start asking both of us, is he getting enough drink? Is he drinking enough water at home? Is he drinking enough liquid and stuff like that? And I said, normally he does drink a good bit of liquids, but I haven't been around the last few days. I've been like at home, I mean. And then she turns to the witch and was like, has he been doing that stuff and stuff like that? So I said, yeah, he drinks plenty, drinks loads. And then the nurse goes, well, if he was drinking loads, he wouldn't be severely dehydrated, throwing up constantly, I mean. So they were making sure we gave him like water and stuff while we we're there, and a little like stuff, I mean. And then they started pulling her up on like certain questions, going like, why is a 5-year-old still in diapers? You mean? Like, why is he not potty trained? Like the basic things that a kid should be at 5. They've been getting ready to almost start school in the next like month or so. Do you mean? So this then brought up the nurses then made I think some sort of social services aware of this. I mean, because it was a very not a good thing. Do you mean? So to which I'm just sitting there getting like nervous. I'm like, this is not my fault. It's not my kid, but I care, but this is what the fuck's going on. You mean? So yeah, almost time on time. Minute, okay. But yeah, social services ended to come see him, explain the severity to the situation. The kid didn't know anything basic. Didn't know anything basic. No, didn't know how to use a bathroom or anything like that. You mean? Was always in diapers. And keep in mind, diapers, I helped change both the kids from their diapers the entire time I've been with her, by the way, because again, she would use it as a way to lead me on to like get me to help around the place. In essence, kind of being her little servant. When I look back on it, should be timer for going off now. Is it? Yeah, I'm gonna stop there. So anyone who's not have their Twitch sub or anything like that, yeah, give you guys a chance to yeah, we'll give you guys anyone who wants to ask questions or anything at the moment while we're waiting for like the Twitch people to come back from the ads. Now's a good time. Thank you for the hug, Con. I still can't believe this. We've been going for 2.5 hours already. That is wild. It has not felt like 2.5 hours at all. Alright, right. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Jacob. Even like the guys who I have like the team. Weird. Like even with the people who work in the team, there's only a few people who know the full story at the moment. Hide and seek is starting in an hour and a half, 90 minutes from now. Starts at 7 p.m. GMT. But yeah, things that really fortunate to have the team we have at the moment. I know a lot of them haven't heard these stories and probably be like, will probably maybe look at me differently after this. Might be like, you're a fucking idiot, and I'd be like, yeah, I know, but I was young and dumb at the time, so I'll have to wait and see. You mean? What time are you think though? 3 seconds. All right. The time is. Oh yeah, you can see my time at the moment. Yeah, see. That's a very handy command. You forget we have that time command on there. I forget half the commands I have at the moment. That's just a funny thing. But yeah, I just don't know when this one is back. That's also. Don't worry, we have always known you're an idiot. Fair, but now you see how bad it was. Well, not even there yet. At the moment, we still got a bit to go. Still have a bit to go. I ain't gonna stop watching you just because you did stupid shit like that. Was your choice, not mine. Yeah, but like people are saying, like, yeah, like I said, it's like I was in the past. It wasn't me being the smartest at the time, and obviously I'm a lot more aware about it now. So I think I am back. Yeah, cool. Huh?
Young and dumb.
Young and dumb. So we're in the hospital, and the child protector, the CPS, basically come and talk about him not being this and that. Like this needs to change, stuff like that. Where stuff started happening, we'll do checkups, stuff like that. So we need to start potty training them. And she's kind of scared and stuff like that because she's worried about losing her kids and stuff. So she decides to make the wise decision of she doesn't want to be in the hospital anymore. She wants to leave because she's getting judged and getting poked and prodded about how she's treating the kids. But to her normality, do you think she asked them to leave? No, she begged me to go tell the nursing station that she wants to leave and she wants to go home. So it was put on my shoes again to go and talk to different people on her behalf, saying she wants to go home and stuff like that, and to discharge the kids. Just want to know when we are going to play War Thunder. The way we're going at the moment, we still got parts to go with the story. We'd be lucky to play any games of War Thunder, but the hide and seek is still gonna happen regardless. I'm trying to make sure I get this stuff tied up before hide and seek. So I did not think this would be 2.5 hours. I thought, oh, this would be an hour or two tops. I keep misunderstanding how much of the story there is. So I'm guaranteeing there'll be parts of the story I'll end up going back later on and be like, oh, by the way, this is also, yeah, do you mean so? But yes. We end up getting home, sure, and I'm tired, she's tired. I've been awake like 32 hours at this point because like we finally didn't get out of the hospital till like 8 a.m. in the morning, and just craziness, absolute craziness. We get home, look after the kid, and yeah, and then she starts trying to potty train over the next few days. to varying levels of degrees of success. And she would get frustrated at the kid because he wouldn't use the bathroom, because he kept on begging for nappies and kept wanting nappies, and it was like no, to the point like we even had to go to the shop and go get much underwear, some to wear for kids and stuff like that. I mean, how many caffeine did you take on those days? I didn't drink anything. There's no caffeine those days. I didn't even know what this was back then, by the way, at all. But yeah, went out underwear, and he would kick and scream about wanting to use the nappy still because it was what he knew it was easy and stuff like that. She would get annoyed. She would it was all parents did to us when we were growing up. When we were saying, she would slap him on the ass and stuff like that, and just trying to get him to do things. I mean, and obviously you cry when it happened, and then that made her more angry, which made her slap him more because misbehaving and not listening to her and stuff like that. And it just became like a vicious cycle. But yeah, I'm back. I crashed. You're all good. Just being like a vicious cycle for trying to get him to do that. And then I remember during this time, the father of the kid finally came back from Pakistan because he went away for their religious thing. He went
Ramadan or something?
Ramadan, yeah. He went away for Ramadan to spend Ramadan with his family, and came back and had told the witch that that whenever he is over, that he does not want to see me in the apartment. And at this time, I was living with her in the apartment. So in her wise wisdom, she decided it was best that I just wouldn't be around the time that he was around. Which, the first time it happened was a little crazy because like I had broke my phone somehow. I did something with my phone. It cracked. I don't remember what time it was. You mean? So he was like, I want to come take the kids to the zoo and stuff like that. And she was like, okay. And then I was like, what am I gonna do? And she's like, I don't know. I was like, okay, all I can do is I can walk up the road to the shopping center. That's like an hour down the road, an hour walk well away, and see if I can get my phone fixed or see what's what. You mean? She's like, yeah, we should only be on like an hour or two going to the zoo. And I was like, that's a very quick zoo visit. I don't think so, but whatever. You mean? So I had to leave the house earlier before he arrived. I seen him leaving his taxi. I then started walking up the road to the shopping center. Took me an hour to get up there, and like 20-30 minutes looking around for a phone place to get repaired. Had no internet, and barely any messages on my phone, stuff to do any negotiating, stuff like that, any talking. I then couldn't find a place, or found a place, and they're like, oh no, they can't do my phone. It's like, fuck. And then walked an hour back, and at this stage it was 2 hours ago, and I then went and tried to find, for some reason in this complex, one of the neighbors had their Wi-Fi set to open, like anyone could use it. So I used it to be able to message her and see where she was and what was going on. And she was saying, oh, we're still at the zoo and stuff like that. And I was like, well, you said you've been gone for like 2 hours. I'm like out in nowhere, in exposed to the elements. Like, what am I gonna do? She's like, oh, I don't know. I'll let you know when we're on the way back. I'm like, I don't always have internet, so it's like, so you want me to get in touch with me? You know what I mean? So I had no messages at the time, no text messages. So I ended up spending an hour, kind of like another hour walking around, just staring at things. An hour turned to 2 hours again, and 2 hours turned to 3 hours, and 3 hours turned to 4 hours. I'm outside, and I finally see the car turn in. I'm like, okay, he's probably just dropping them off, and then he's gonna leave. So I end up, remember, walking around the apartment complex, looking for somewhere where I'm out of sight, but where I can see the door if he leaves, because I need to be able to see when he leaves, so I can go up to the door for where the internet access this point is, to the messenger that I'm outside. You know what I mean? So she could let me in, because I didn't have access to any of the apartment, because you have to get in you have to get in with a key to get into the doors, or you could be buzzed in. But you have to be buzzed in from the inside out first. So anyway, he ended up turning up. They ended up turning up and something like that, and it started to rain outside when he finally got there. I remember I was standing out there in the rain, just going like, waiting for the rain to go away, and then waiting for him to go away. You mean? And yeah. And then like in their hour, he was there for an hour, and there for 2 hours. And then like 3 hours. It's kind of late at night. I see him finally leave, and once he leaves, I go up and stuff like that. And when I finally get upstairs, like upstairs to her and stuff like that, she's kind of like, not the way she went out, if that makes sense, but enough to make me start questioning what the hell was going on, because what was it? I'd gotten upstairs and her hair was like straight and everything else before she went out. When I got back, like her hair was all messy, so that as if like her head had been rubbing off something. You mean? On my head, I was like, "What's going on?" Because this is weird. It felt really uncomfortable. You mean? And I just remember just being there and just remember being hungry and stuff like that. And she was like, "Oh yeah, we've already eaten and stuff like that." And I was like, "Well, what am I gonna do?" And she's like, "I don't know." And I was like kept on making a point of like, "Oh, we don't have too much money," so I was like, "All right, fine, fuck it." That was one of these days where this started becoming a more popular thing that happened, where I just wouldn't eat that day at all. So, and yeah, just kept on trying to do whatever it was to kind of just please her and stuff like that. And then yeah, so I thought that would just be the one time it happened. Over the next little bit until the kid went to school, it started happening more and more. Where it'd be kind of these stints where I'm outside in the cold or the rain and stuff like that, and just not doing too well. And it was one of these nights I got really just kind of fed up with it, and I had decided, like, fuck it. You mean? I remember it was like something like 12 at night, 1 or 2 in the morning. I was like, I know that because like she wasn't telling me what was really going on between her and her ex partner time, because again her hair was all in the state and stuff like that, and I presumed that something had gone on. And so I was like, fuck it. I grabbed my bag. There was no buses, no nothing. So what I decided to do, it was walk 2.5 hours from her apartment to this train station in central Dublin, from the Clondalkin area. And if everyone knows that distance, that is a very fucking far way to walk. It also walks through a lot of dangerous neighborhoods in Dublin, and it's very fucked. Say the least, yeah. So I got there. I remember it was like when I finally got there, it was from like 5 in the morning ish, 5:30 in the morning ish. And I was like, oh, trains aren't for like another hour. What am I gonna do? My phone is dead. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, maybe the guards can help or something. So I remember walking into the guard station, the guard station, which is our police station. I'm like, I don't know what to do. The trains aren't for this long. My phone is dead. I don't know if you guys will help me get home or something like that. And they're like, we're not a taxi service, we can't be at home. I was like, that's kind of fair. And someone was like, well, what you can do, you can stay in here for an hour or two until like the train service starts, and then go from there. You mean? And I was like, okay, fair. And it's like, he's like, what phone have you got? I was like, I have this phone here. And I was like, what connection is it? It was like, it's this connection. I was like, well, we have that connector. So he was like, give me your phone for a bit. You mean? And like, so I gave him my phone, and he went to the back and he started charging my phone for me. So really top, awesome dude, very awesome dude. You mean? Just looking after me. And so I'm in there for like half an hour. I'm like, fuck it. I think I have some money in my bank. I can't be staying out here. So I was like, I remember ring the doorbell with the officer, and I was like, I have my phone back. I'm gonna try and see if I can figure something out. And he was like, all right, here you go. Phone was a little bit charged. I'm like, okay, enough to make it work. I went and found an ATM machine, pulled out the last like 20 euros of my account. I remember starting to go up to the taxi drivers, going like, hey, can you help me get home? I only have 20 euros. 20 euros. I know it's more to get back to where I'm going to, but like, can you help out? And one of the guys was like, listen, I have to do this airport run. If I come back and you're still here, I'll do it. But, and he said, I'm not being funny. If you go and find a black taxi driver, they will just take whatever money they can get and drive you home. Do you mean? So. Oh yeah, sorry. When you get home, I was like, okay, fair. I have to go look with the story. I appreciate it, Gendum. You take it easy. Hello, GTG. So yeah. But yeah. So, yeah. I remember where I was going. So yeah, I remember walking down one of the streets, and I managed to flag down a taxi driver who was black. And I was like, listen, man, I really need to go home. I want to get 20 euros to my name. I have no more money in my bank account. I need a helping hand. Do you mean? And the guy kind of looked at me and was like, how much is it? Like 20 euros. I was like, where are you going to? I was like, here. You don't even have to drive me all the way to the house. Even if you just drive me into our village, I can walk the rest of the way. I just need to be able to get somewhere to where I can walk a safe distance. You mean? So he was like, all right. So anyway, I get in the store, I get in with him, I start talking to him, we go from there, you know what I mean? Then they like to lie, my good sir. So he starts driving me home. He's going like, "Why are you doing out here? What's going on?" So I was with a girl and stuff like that, and I just something was going weird. So I decided to fucking start walking home, and walked like the last like two and a half hours sit there and stuff like that. I mean, and the guy's like, "Jesus, like you must like really like not many people will do that." I was like, "I know, I'm just one of those things." So I finally, he was like, got me home and stuff like that. He's like, "Listen to me, dude. Don't let her get away with it. I mean, like you are you, like make sure you look after yourself." I was like, "I appreciate it." And then gave him the money. He was like, "Thanks," and then I was like, "Thank you for giving me the lift." And like, you really didn't have to do that. He was like, "No, it's okay. I enjoyed the company as well." Look, and so he left. I got in. I am. Excuse me. What was it? I got home. Got home. Here, what happened? I got home, and then my mom woken up because obviously I came in at 6 a.m. in the morning, and she was like, "What? I wasn't expecting you to see you here," because me and my family were not on good terms all this time. And I was like, explain what was going on. I was outside for like 7-8 hours on my own and stuff like that. No place to do anything in the rain and stuff like that. And she was kind of just like, "Okay." I was like, "I'm just tired and wrecked," and I just fed up the moment. She's like, "Okay, so just go to sleep and we can talk about it in the morning." I was like, "All right." I went to sleep, and then yeah, my mom knew I wasn't in a good space. Like this is when like the first time I would have been home in like a month or so. And yeah, trying to remember the order of events, because order of events are happening at the moment. I remember I was like really depressed and everything else like that was going on, and it was like really bad. And oh no, that's not that actually. Okay, I remember that's what happened. And I remember like two days later, something like that, she was messaging me again saying that she needs help and stuff. I was like, "Why?" Because like I don't want to be outside again. I mean, it's just that wasn't a good feeling. And he's like, "No, I'm sorry, I didn't do that. You just can't let them see you and stuff like that." You know what I mean? And it's just the easy thing to do. And it's like, just because it's easy for you to do doesn't mean it's easy for me to do. So anyway, a few days later, I end up going back up again because again, I'm an idiot. And it did end up happening again, except I didn't just walk home this time at all. I mean, I remember just putting up with it and just waiting, and there was like this happened a few times a week where I'd just be out there, and all I would do is I'd have my headphones for my phone. I have my phone. I would go find some weird ass shelter under a bush in this apartment complex, as close as I could be to the internet. Like I still watch stuff and be distracted outside in the cold and the rain and the darkness, just waiting until fucking the dude would leave and stuff like that. It's happened a few times. I'm gonna go eat in a bit. Good luck. Take it easy, 380. But yeah. And then around this point, like she starts to really get on to me, saying, "Oh, I'm freeloading and stuff like that she can't look after herself and the kids and me and stuff like that." And she kept on telling me, "You need to find a job, you need to find a job." So at this time, I start looking for anything, just applying left, right, and center. Much as I can do, left, right, and center, applying for jobs everywhere and go, like everywhere and anywhere. You mean? I remember getting acceptance for something. It was over in like the RDS, which is our like one of our national show centers in Dublin. I had to go down there with a group interview type of situation, and they were talking about, "Oh, what you're going to basically be doing is you're going to be like waiters for this private venue. The Rolling Stones are going to be playing there and stuff like that. And basically all you got to do is you show up, you get paid. You have to, it's fancy dining. So what you have to do is you have to like approach it at a certain side of them, put certain things in certain places, and you know, so on and so forth, right?" Yeah, I ended up doing that, and then they're like fitting us up for like stuff afterwards for the clothes. And I said, "All right, well, the venue's in like a couple of days, and you need to be here at this location at this time," and yada yada yada, and all that stuff. Anyway, I'm like, "Cool, great, I got it." I end up go back to her, end up walking back to her place. I had walked from her place to the interview, so I had to leave her place 3 hours beforehand, and then walk from the place back to her place was another 3 hours. Never mind, I was already there for 2 hours doing stuff. So I was already out there again 8 hours, and I finally got home, and then yeah, madness. I get home, I'm like, "Yeah, sounds like I've got it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be this weekend." And stuff like that. She's like, "What do you mean this weekend?" I was like, "This weekend's when it happens." She's like, "Oh, but I need you this weekend." I was like, "What do you mean you need me this weekend? You told me to get a job. You can't not tell me to go somewhere after telling me to get a job." Anyway, she tells me to send the email saying you can't come and so that. So I did. I sent the email saying I can't come. Then I remember like the next week getting payment for the job that I never showed up to. They just presumed that because you put your name on the list that you're going to be there for it. So they just paid out everyone's name on the list instead of double checking that people are actually there or checked in for it. So basically got money for doing nothing. Which at the time I didn't mind because I had literally nothing to my name at the moment. So I was like, okay, it's something weird. I thought they were going to call me out on it. Whatever the hell. I mean, I was waiting for them to like next few days like, they're going to call like, oh, were you actually here? Did you actually show for this event? I mean, if not, you need to send the money back or something like that. I mean, all right. So there I am. I'm still applying for jobs. Still trying to find stuff. Trying to find anything, do you mean? Remember one of these times I went home, my mum had made me go to the doctors and I had my antidepressants on me. And I was actually taking antidepressants while I was with her. And then, because that's kind of important for what goes on. So, I think a few days ago, I think a week or two goes by or something like that. Some sort of travel of time, passage of time, which I can't remember. I remember I finally get another interview for another place, right? And I'm like, okay. I get the interview for the place. It's something to do with door-to-door stuff. Driving SU-33 on the city maps is not easy. Jesus. Yeah, so got an interview for this place. They want us to show up to the place at like 8 a.m. I'm trying to figure out with the internet like where this place is and how far away. When it's like, again, it's another like 2.5 hour walk. I'm like, for fuck's sake, I have no internet and I don't know where the hell I'm going. So I download the Google Maps on my phone and I'm literally trying to figure it out. I leave 3 hours before I need to be there, so I end up leaving at something like 5 a.m. in the morning or something like that to be there, make sure I'm there in time. I have my runners, I have my slacks and my interview stuff on. I'm just wearing it as I'm going. I know it's going to actually sweat it out because it's a long ass walk. I need to make sure they're in time and stuff, do you mean? So I finally show up and we end up going through an interview thing. Ask me some questions, going like, question of why I'm in runners and stuff like that, like why I'm not in like full like attire, and I explained that like I'm not living at home at the moment. I'm currently staying with who I basically called my girlfriend at the time, and that like the first paycheck I would buy myself proper shoes because I only have these runners on at the moment. I have nothing else, no other footwear, and they were already, and these runners were like dilapidated and they were like falling apart anyway. You know what I mean? So, the guy's like, all right, okay. He's like, he likes the idea. He's like, we're gonna see how you do. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go out with some of these other door-to-door guys, and you're gonna shadow them all day. So basically, you shadow them from 9 a.m. all the way to like 6 p.m. at night. So I go out with this dude. Me and him are talking. We're walking. Again, keeping in mind, I have a really bad back. The entire time I'm walking for all this time, my back is going on me. It's completely shot. As long as day goes, it gets worse and worse and worse. And all we're doing is in this one little estate, knocking on every single door, going door to door. The guy's trying to pitch something at the time. I can't remember, something like some energy stuff and gas stuff. And only one time we got brought in the door and stuff like that, and he didn't get any sales that day. And that job is very much commission based, right? They're going door to door stuff. And anyway, then we end up talking. We end up catching one of the guys who is in charge of the people in this little herd, basically. Asking the guy who I shadowed how it went, stuff like that. He was like, it's not bad. It's not bad. Didn't really get anything, and you know, it's just one of those days. And then we end up going back to the shopping center thing, and he was like, all right, and he was asking me, how are you going to get home? I was like, where are we? I have no idea where we are at the moment, because I knew where we were from where the interview took place, but where you drove was like an hour away from there. You know what I mean? And he was like, oh, we're here. And I was like, I was like, do you have internet on your phone? He's like, yeah, I do. I was like, why? Because I don't have any internet on my phone. I need to just see the route. You know what I mean? And it's like, what do you mean the route? Because I'm gonna have to walk home. He's like, you can't. What do you mean you can't walk home? It's like, where are you gonna walk home from? It's like, from the place where I was going to. He was like, that's like a 2 or 3 hour walk. It's like, yeah, I know. I don't have any money to get a bus, so I have to walk. And the guy was like, he's a really chill dude. He's like, oh no, like, I can help. You know what I mean? I was like, no, you don't have to. You don't mind, good sir. Might do it. You don't have to do that. Like, I mean, I like. There's no reason for it. It's like, no, I want to help. Yeah. And it was like, you also want to like. I also haven't seen you eat a single time today. It's like, again, I don't have the money for it. I didn't have the money to get the bus down to the interview place. I'm just making it work. And he was like, okay. So we ended up going to the shop, and then he was like, grab a drink, grab a snack. I mean, and I did, and I grabbed 2 things, and he was like, is that sure? That's all you want? It's like, I don't need any more than this. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna like pull you out of pocket. It's fine. It's like, no, it's fine. It's like, okay, fine. So he pays for the stuff, and he goes, here's enough money for like the bus fare home for the 2 buses. Go get home and go from there. Do you mean? I was like, I thanked him a lot, and he was really appreciative. I showed him that I was really appreciative of it. So, I get the bus home. I use the free onboard Wi-Fi to text the witch what's going on, and she's just annoyed and already giving out about, I've been gone all day, why didn't you say anything? I explained to her, I don't have any Wi-Fi or any internet. I didn't have a single piece of internet the entire time I was out, so I couldn't tell her what was going on. She's getting really annoyed at me giving out about it, and I was like, I'm almost home, give me a little bit. And she's like, did you get the job? I was like, I have no idea, I have to wait. I get a text in the next like hour to 30 minutes, and that will then tell me if I need to be somewhere tomorrow. Do you mean? And I just there on the bus ride home, and then I get a text from the company that I was working alongside with, and they were like, unfortunately, we don't think you'd be a best fit for this job. I mean, you affected one of our agents commissions today by them not getting anything because you've been around them. I mean, so we're not looking to bring you on for this time. I kind of just read it and go like, what the fuck? Like, how am I, like, you put a random person with someone who doesn't know what the hell they're meant to be, they're selling or what's going on, and you tell them just to shadow them. I don't know. So I find this news only like 5 minutes from the door. I'm like, I end up messaging her, saying I'll be in the door in a minute and I'll tell you what's going on. And then I get fucking to the I get to the door, and I can hear like kids like crying and giving out, and hear her shouting and stuff like that as I'm walking up the stairs and stuff. And I've knocked the door. She lets me in. She was like, so how did it go? I was like, it didn't go well at all. I'm in a lot of pain. My back is killing me like hell. I mean, I got really lucky with a really nice dude that was helping me out at the time. And yeah, I got a text from the place saying I didn't get the job. She was like, so you basically spend 8 hours out of the house today, not telling me anything like that, and basically didn't get the job. Like, how useless are you? And I was like, what do you mean? It wasn't my fault. I didn't get it. Do you mean? And she just kept beating into me. My meds were in my bag that I used to come and see her. She went over and said, it's these damn medicines, it's damn like antidepressant medications. Unless she took the medication and she popped all of it and put it into the toilets. And now I was like, what are you doing? Like, I need that stuff. She's like, no, you don't need to be on this stuff. This stuff is like, it's fake. It's not real. You don't need to be doing this stuff. Like you don't need this. Like, that's not going to help you at all. I was like, it didn't help me to keep me some sort of straight mind. And she was just giving out more and more and more. To which I just kind of just like was just quiet, was defeated, kind of just sat on the ground. She walked away and stuff like that. Like, I just sat there going like, why am I even doing this? Why am I even here? I'm just failing. I'm failing everything. I can't do anything. Can't do anything right. Things are shit. I'm in a shit situation. And I was like, I want to get out of here. I need to get out. So I grabbed my bag. I remember giving the kid a hug. And I was like, and he was like, are you coming back? I said, I don't know. And then I left. I walked down the road to walk down the road, because at the time the motorway was on one of these connections parts of the road, just like not even maybe like 500 to 800 feet down from her meters down from her apartment, right? I remember we're like just walking down that direction, like on that road, and I was like, I just wanted a breather, want some fresh air, and I was like, wasn't doing well. And I was just started like walking down the edge of the highway, and there was a service station. I remember just sitting on that wall, and you can see lorries going by like at like motorway speeds and stuff. Do you mean? and it's kind of just sitting there. Managed to get Wi-Fi from the the service station. And the minute I get that, I start getting a message from her going, "Where'd you go? What's going on? What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm not in the right headspace." Like the way, and I started saying, "The way you treat me is like shit and stuff like that. So why do I even bother anymore? Like why even bother even being here?" And I remember just started ignoring her back. Welcome back. I started ignoring her messages, and I kind of just sat there contemplating, like sitting on the side of the motorway, and be like, just why? Like why am I here? There's no sense of it. All I do is wrong things. I don't do anything right. And yeah, still the witch. Coming towards the end of it. Almost. And yeah, I wow, a lot of this stuff is very blacked out. I know. Yeah, I remember kind of sitting there, had my eyes closed, just kind of listening to the motorway, the trucks going wow, like how loud they are, you know, with full cargo loads, something like 12 to 1 at night, 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning at night, and 90 seconds, you fucking dick. The timing of that. Probably a good time there actually for that break, because that was kind of that icon. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't have an ad, I will pre-warn this is not a good part of the story. The parts that you guys are here, while you were here, at least you know I'm still here. Guys, thank you would like to lie, my good sir. I do appreciate you guys a lot. A lot. Back from the ads. Alright, just waiting for like 1 or 2 more people to be back from the ads. Yeah, what long is left on it? Done. Alright, to make sure it's back there. That yo, hello Jason. Make sure Angel's back. Because apparently her ads are off-centered from everyone else's. I don't know why. Jason, you like to lie, my good sir. Okay. Yo, hello Ben. Back. Alright. So I'm sitting there on the side of the road contemplating a lot of things. Contemplating life and just kind of come to the conclusion that I am the problem in everyone's life. I don't know. We have hide and seek in an hour. That I am the problem in everyone's life. And that I can get if I'm not around, then people don't have a problem to deal with. But again, at this time, wasn't in good talking. My mom or brother were on really bad terms. Obviously me and her had fought, and the kids and everything, issues with that. And I decided to say fuck it. I stood up. I said fuck it. I decided to stand up, walk to the edge of the motorway. I remember closing my eyes and walking out into the traffic, ready to accept whatever was about to happen. And I don't know what. I don't know why. But I didn't walk any further. I stood back. And by the time I stood back, a truck had finally gone by and stuff. And I don't know what stopped me that day. Something niggled in the back of my voice to stop. Back of my head to stop. but I had actively in the first time in a very, very long time. Because beforehand I'd only do harm, but I actually wanted to try and take my own life. And I don't know what stopped me from doing it. But I am glad that whatever it was, that I didn't. So, what I did next was I wanted help. I, for a half an hour, spam called my brother and my mum on WhatsApp because I only had internet at the time. The spam called them, trying to get through to someone, and couldn't get through to my mum. And then I finally got through to my brother, and he was asking what's going on, and I was like, "Can you go wake my mum up? Can you wake my mum up? I need help. I almost just tried to take my own life." And he was like, "What?" I was like, "I'm by the side of a motorway at the moment. I need someone to come get me." And he was like, "Okay." So I could hear him sprint across the house to try and get to my mum. She woke him up, and she's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" He said, "It's Connor. He needs help." And she took the phone off him. I explained again, and she was like, "Stay on the phone. Don't get off the phone." And she's like, "Where am I?" I explained to her where I was. I was like, "I can walk to a McDonald's. I know where a McDonald's is." He's like, "Hey, you walk to McDonald's, but you stay on the phone the entire time." The entire time, I was on the phone with them, and I walked to the McDonald's. They found me, and at this stage, I hadn't seen them like a month or two, like properly. And my mom's like first reaction when she seen me, she was like, "Whoa!" I was very skinny. Like you can see all the bone structure of my face. You could see my ribs and how the skin was like digging under the ribs, like the lower part, like if there's like nothing there. And she was like, "Let's just get you some food first and we can talk about it." And she got me some food and we started eating. I started eating, and then they were like, "Okay, let's get you home and we'll deal with this properly in the morning." So I got in the car with them. I got home. I slept in my own bed. I woke up. I talked to my mum, and she's like, "I've been on with a suicide prevention place called Peter House. It's a suicide prevention place of people who have actively tried to remove themselves from the world." And when we went there, I was seeing they kind of do this part where they see how you are and how you're doing, if you're a threat to yourself or a threat to anyone else, to see if they have to go to the next stage of hospitalizing you. Thankfully, I didn't have to be hospitalized for that type of stuff. But the more and more the story they kept hearing of what I've been through and what has happened recently, even they were just kind of gobsmacked in their own way too, because they're used to hearing all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so yeah, they asked me to go back on my antidepressants, and I did. And my mom was like, "You need to not see this girl anymore," and I was like, "Okay." And yeah, but not even a week goes by, and I've been to Peter House once or twice this stage. I can't remember. And I remember for some reason she messaged me again asking for help, and whatever the hell reason, I can't remember. And I don't know why still, but I remember going when fuck it, right, back again, and I go in the rhythm of things. And I left the house and I started walking down towards the train station. That's when my brother jumped me. He jumped me. He was like, "What are you doing? Stop being stupid." He kept on pushing me back, "Go back home, don't do that." I was like, "Stop it, I'm doing it." And he's like, "No." We got into a fight. We started wrestling. We started properly hitting each other. his phone fell. I stomped it to get him out off me. He got really pissed off at me, and like property was whacking me. And I remember just being in the States, like sore ribs, sore face, sore everything, just like into a proper fight. But yeah, went back, was with her for a day and a half, and then I don't know, something clicked in my head again. I was like, no, not doing this again. Got my stuff, properly said goodbye to the kids, and then didn't say anything to her because she was doing her own thing, distracted. I left the apartment again, met my mum at the train station, and then she was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not coming running every time you need help. You need to make a call, like you block her, or just, I'm not helping you more. So I blocked her. Yeah, so I ended up blocking her and dealt with stuff that way. Didn't really hear much for a good while. Just good, because obviously you should block, so I shouldn't have. And then for some reason I decided to unblock her some stage a year later. And there was another time where my mum was going away, and I had I don't know why. The message said you need help painting and stuff like that. So I remember going down, helped her paint her place. She had another guy. I feel like she's also pregnant again with a different guy's kid. So a third person, third different kid. And the way the guy was at the time wasn't very good. It was flaunting and stuff like that, because he knew about me and my existence from the last forever. I know. But yeah. I'm not proud of what comes next. I am not proud of what I'm about to tell you guys come next. So this thing happened with this guy, and he was really flaunting it, and I was done, and I went out to the landing of the apartment just to get away from it, because he was really pissing me off, because he was really like pushing buttons and stuff. And he kept on coming closer. I told him to stay away from me. I said, if he comes any closer, I'm gonna fucking wallop the head off him. I don't need it anymore. I just kept coming and coming, and then I remember swinging, and I remember just seeing black, and I remember just being stood over the dude. And yeah. So I was fed up. I was fed up with what was going on. I shouldn't have lashed out and hit the dude, or pummeled him like hell. I remember my knuckles were bloody and stuff, and I'd realized what I'd done. That wasn't good. The parts that is I don't tell often is I didn't just leave him there. I brought him. We brought like he got up after like a few seconds, and then even after me hitting him and stuff like that, and what happened, me and him end up going for a walk. Not this part of the story I don't tell many people, but we went for a walk. We talked about things. I talked about him about everything, like everything that what's going on, all the stuff, and he was like understanding, but at the same time he was like I don't want you to come back around, and I was like, understandable. And yeah, I'm lucky I didn't get in trouble for it. I'm lucky that he was understanding, he knew where I was coming from, and that like how she is, but he made his bed. And that's and that was the end of the witch. That is the end of the witch. Well, yeah, because the girls knows a few years ago for whatever reason I had blocked her original Facebook stuff, but she made a different account, and I remember. I think the girls definitely remember this. I remember it was a big thing at the time. I'd seen this and ignored it and blocked it, but the fact that she tried to reach out after so many years after what she did was like so mind blowing me, and it threw me off for like a week or two. I was just very closed and antisocial, and even when I was helping with Wolf, that's when that stuff happened. I mean, so yeah, it's not as many things I'd sell about it because, but yeah, that's the stuff of the witch. Then greener pastures come around. Oh god. Greener pastures come around. I started working a lot on 5M development. I threw myself into that. I got a job working in a place around here that's no longer a thing. I can't remember what the fuck it's called again. The one that's in the yeah, that place there. What? Yeah, that place. Yeah. And yeah, things are looking up. Colmore, and then like things are looking okay. And then Colmore, you're living with your mom and brother at the time. Yeah, all this is still my brother and brother at the time. Like me and my family, like it took us a while, like a year or two, to patch things up and try and get things to where they were better. And it took a lot of work from everyone's side. It took me making sure I stayed on my antidepressants for a while, and the rest of this other stuff. You mean so? Yeah. Then I said I did a few coding courses. Some went well, some didn't go well. Oh god, what else? I am. Yeah. Then I don't remember. I worked the few core courses. Me and Lou ended up getting together. I ended up working in a place called Quick Farm. It was okay. Travel was already annoying since I'm public transport the entire days. You mean? And I had to stop working at Quick Farm because the travel was killing me. And then, yeah, just started going from there. Wolf, I would have met a year into streaming, something like that, I think. If I remember correctly, I think it was like a year into streaming or something like that. But that's a whole different story. We're not going into that type of stuff. That's so I'd rather just leave alone. So you fell for Love Live? Yeah, I fell for Lou. I'm lucky I have two. I have Lou and I have Angel. I have both of them. Lou came first, and then a few years later, Angels came when I came out as Pauline, and that was a challenge for me and Lou to try and work through as well. And we've done it, and we make things work. And yeah, we're where we are today. It's why I'm pretty good at spotting red flags. It's why whenever I get a weird gut feeling, because I've now taught myself not to ignore it. We find things out about certain people, or certain people rub me the wrong way, and I'm like, I don't like them for some reason, and it comes out later on they're sketchy, or something like that. You mean? I'm not gonna go into too much more because that stuff's not for here. It's also why I end up having a lot of brighter look in life, because I've been in the dumps, I've been in the dirt, I've came from the bottom and worked up, which is why I'm like, enjoy the moment. That's why I like the way I'm at streams. Like, the streams are last, they're just entertainment in the day. If you're gonna spend time with family, go spend more time with family. That's the more important thing. You could find someone dangerous before even meeting the cause. Honestly, no, that's actually a true thing, H380. God, Lou knows exactly. I can think of one extremely great case, but I don't want to go too much into it. And some of the people will know what I'm talking about when it comes to who we caught with Wolf. That's all I'll say. That is a great case. I had a weird feeling, and then found information out as time went over, and we were just like, no, we were right to have a weird feeling. But yeah, that's why I'm always happy when I'm on stream, because things could be worse, but things can be better, but things can always be way worse. It's why I wanted to do this in an 8-hour stream, because this is one of these things it's very hard. I've also just realized it's taking us 3.5 hours to do this. I know we're like, I'm like 15 minutes away from Sherman going to go set up the War Thunder stuff, do you mean? But yeah, But yeah, we'll leave it on like a lighter side. So between the witch and me being sick with cancer, there's this little treasure nugget in the middle of it. There is this place called Barrettstown. It is a camp for sick kids, people who have had serious illnesses like cancer and some other stuff. You mean this place will bring them in free of charge on a summer camp for like 7 to 10 days, depending on the camp you're going to go from. And it's kids from around the world, from Europe, from Romania, the UK, Ireland, Spain, and they give kids a chance to be kids again. And it's a really magical place, and it's a place I've been to a good few times because, again, they do help you feel like a kid. But my thing was always making sure other people were having fun too. It's also where in Barrettstown I wanted to learn to be a volunteer. Cara is friend in Irish, and it's one of those things that are basically the people who hang out with the kids all day, make sure they're having fun and putting the kids' fun first. And they normally come from people who have either dealt with serious illness or have dealt with family with serious illness. And yeah, I was trained out for a while. Technically, I have the training for it, but it's just Ireland will always be a special place because one of the key places that helped me through like the sickness, same with the family. I mean, so. But yeah. Isn't too bad. Now, I might have forgotten things, but if you guys have any questions you want to ask, now's a really great time to do it. My suspicion of being able to get onto Warcher number 4 anything is dead ass wrong. I was wrong. We did get to play any Warcher games between now and hide and seek. I am going to launch my Warcher and have it ready for when we are going to swap over to it, which is literally in like next 35 minutes. So if you guys have any questions you want to ask, or anything you want to bring up, or any questions about any of the situations, I am more than okay answering it. Yes, they are a tough talk, but I like to be transparent with you guys. But yeah, one of the many reasons why Lou was off work today. So hopefully all the staff are okay. I know if you have depression or been through financial manipulation, like a emotional or physical, emotional trauma or abuse, it's not a nice thing to hear. So I hope, one, everyone in the stream is doing good, and two, all the staff who are listening to this stream are also doing okay. It is a very tough thing to hear. I want to say thank you for sharing. I know how hard it is to talk about it. Yeah, I am. It's also something I try not to think about. Even the last like few days, it's been kind of like my mind's been very fragmented on how to go about this. Because I'm more about pushing the positive shit, and everything I've been through is very negative, like very negative shit. You mean? And I'm like, that's why I wanted to make sure. What I missed, goddamn Archimedes. That's why I wanted to make sure that people understood what they're coming into is like they had their warnings. You mean? I had to go see my mom. She's unwell. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Archimedes. He's like, just missed a little bit of the stream when we come back the background, the stories of where I came from, some of that, and some of the last little bits. I'm basically asking people if they have any questions they can ask it while we're waiting. We have another like half an hour until the hide and seek. So yeah, great time to ask some questions. Finally, stream works for me again. Nice. Now I want the staff wanted me to be in one of my other rare vehicles today, so I'm just gonna have it ready on my screen. Aye. Very mad day. Very nice. The lower over? Yeah, the lower is over. Unless you guys want to ask more questions about it, I can answer questions, Seaman. I don't mind that. I am more than okay to ask to to answer any questions you guys might have. So how do you stay so positive after dealing with all that? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because like there's always worse. Maybe because like it can always be worse. It can always be really bad. You know what I mean? So, what's the best Irish food? I don't know. What would be considered good Irish food? We say the Irish food is like a mixture of like everyone else's like stuff. You mean?
Um,
Yeah, I don't eat that sort of thing. So,
those are very Irish
I know.
dishes.
Spice Bag. Oh my god. Do you believe that life is scripted? That's fate. You're trouble. No, I'm not. So Spice Bag. Jesus. I was interested in listening to you. I appreciate it, top. Listen. I don't have a fate. I don't believe in that type of stuff. My mindset came from this, from when all the cancer stuff was happening. My mind is like, if there is a higher being, why do they always say, oh, he suffers this much so that he can learn from it? You mean, but who in their right mind would believe in a higher being that gives kids cancer, and gives kids cancer who don't survive? You mean, I had some fish and chips when they visited and the piece of fish was bigger than the head. It was pretty good. That's more English food, fish and chips is, buddy hon. The Irish just refined it. But yeah. We have to wait and see. But yeah, that's kind of like the way I kind of look at things, Krieger. Is that's the way I look at it. But I also don't go in the notion of I won't go around telling people like out of random conversation, oh, I'm this way. Also the same way I respect other people, they don't like, you know, try and shove I love meeting new people. I love meeting people in this type of environment. In real life, it's very different. In real life, social anxiety is burr. Social anxiety is very burr. Oh, yes, right. So to answer Ben's question from earlier on, are we waiting for hide and seek? Yes, we have like 15 minutes until like I get to go for the server going up, and then make sure all the staff are in it, and then we're gonna go from there. Okay. So Ben, you asked the question: how does my back affect me in my day-to-day life? Right. The fact is, my back does affect me a lot in my day-to-day life, unfortunately. And what I mean by that is, I tried working a normal job 2 or 3 years, 3 years back, was it? Yeah, 3 years back. You're back in a loose place, right? Fast-paced environment for like, you know, for, like fast food worker. You know what I mean, a lot of twisting and turning. I lasted a month. I had the most excruciating back pain ever. I couldn't do anything great. I couldn't do it at all. It was really, really bad. To the point where like I had to go and see a specialist. And yeah, so I went and see a specialist for my back. And he looked at my back and he was like, all right, your left shoulder's higher than your right shoulder. You got like a kink in your back. You mean your back isn't truly straight anymore. And you have a degenerative condition in your back. So it's just like, fuck. By him using the word degenerative and me applying for to be on disability allowance, because technically I am disabled by my back, do you mean? Him using the word degenerative meant I could receive disability allowance, which is why I'm able to be okay-ish. Again, it's not a livable amount of money to be on each week, but it's something. I'm very lucky I have Lou, and her parents are so understanding and stuff too about certain things, so it is just one of those things. So in the day-to-day of my back, I'm currently getting physio for the last like 2 months. I have a physiotherapy session next Friday. By the way, that reminds me, there's no stream next Friday, but after I do physiotherapy sessions, my back goes out the wall. So there'll be no stream next Friday. But even at the moment, my back is in a really bad place, and we're kind of trying to figure it out to the point where like, okay, the physiotherapist is like, it's the muscles just gone a certain way trying to help my back. You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things. Just one of those things. So I know we're talking about at the moment doing like dry needling to help my back. Dry needling is just a form of causing damage to the muscle, and just adds as well. Huh? Yeah, I know. I'll talk about more when he comes back. Right. For everyone else can hear me, I need the toilet because I've been sitting here for like 3.5 hours, dying to pee. It's been warm as fucking room. Just been constantly drinking because my throat is killing me. I'll be back in a minute. I don't know. What is my stream deck doing? What in the hell is going on? Okay, I have audio issues. I'm hoping this doesn't crash the stream, but I need to fix something real quick. Because this is not good. This is not good. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I have to kill my audio for a second. Back a minute. Okay. Okay, I've got it working. I'm very worried. I'll answer your message in a second. All right, I'm back. Actively practicing my head skills. Nice. There we go. Right, I got everything working. If you wonder what a minute ago is what's it called? It was being dumb in a very bad way. The audio was just broken. So, but yeah, I am back. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions, like we have another like 15 minutes until I'm gonna start pushing us over to other shit. So we'll have to wait and see. So, definitely wait and see. What I will do though is I'll get the screens already at least anyway. What would you play if Fortnite died? That's a good question because this is something we've been trying to think about recently. is Wartrainer is in a really weird space, right? So we're trying to figure out what I could do in War, what I could do, and I might just start actively participating. Like, might actually start posting some fun games that we do outside of streams with people, like some funny moments from that. So yeah, how good are my flying flybys, by the way? Are they actually good? I think they're pretty good. I see them and I hear you come in, and all of a sudden I hear you die. So I'm hoping you're doing okay. You know what I mean? So. Okay. Start helping there, honestly. Once those people are in, you can start practicing on city maps for better performance near stuff. Please, plus I'm in first person. Oh, nice. What do you think about infantry coming towards you? I think it's the worst thing you can do. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I've seen them what they did on Enlisted, and it's just bad. You mean? Enlisted was better. The Wartrainer just adding because they're adding something new to grind. I mean, if you guys have watched any of the latest videos from my like Cop Myman or Fly Daily, kind of know where we're coming from with this. You very much know where we're coming from doing so. But yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to hide and seek now. Yeah, true. Yeah, we're gonna start getting ready for hide and seek, boys. So. So I'm not liking that red mark on my bottom right TikTok at the moment. Are you gonna hunt in? The VT-12 is hiding with helis and normal tank bounds where you can shoot are allowed. No, there's no helis, by the way. So there's never been helis. I've been in Wartrainer for four doing nothing. Oh, I'm trying to get all the staff in first before I start bringing everyone else in. Yeah, we're gonna be starting here in the next like 15 minutes. Part of me wants to why don't we can hear you clicking. What is it, like a pen? Sorry. I'm debating restarting the stream so repicks up stuff again. However, TikTok is giving me a weird symbol in my bottom right for it. There we go. I'm kind of worried about it in a moment. I'm debating wanting to restart the streams. I'm very worried about this TikTok thing at the moment. The problem is if I do that and that error is correct, TikTok's gonna be dead for 7 days. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it or not. I have the red circle of death TikTok thing. Remember, TikTok can be very dumb because TikTok I'm in the chat section, which is just chatting, so I only have me chatting and an image down below. But TikTok's AI is probably thinking I'm doing something else, and now it's probably just has now shadow banned me for 7 days again. I have a feeling. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Yeah, I will be in a second ban, by the way. But I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna restart the stream or not, and if I do restart the stream, if TikTok's gonna work or not. Yes, but if I come off live and go live, it might not start back up. That's what I'm saying. What to do? I can do a simple test and see if I can update the